who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup.
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review.
With Nick Kerr.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio,
Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A five-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Join me, Scott Laughlin, and Gord Stellick, along with former NHLer Mike Johnson for NHL Morning Skate, weekday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
LeavesSleep.com.
This is Molson Leafs Hockey. On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
There's a Molson with your name on it.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and Maple Leafs Radio Network. Ailish Forfar, Justin Cuthbert. We're only 10-ish minutes away from puck drop as the Leafs host the Philadelphia Flyers. Tonight is an Amazon hockey night, so for those looking to watch the game, that's where you'll find it, Mom and Dad. And in the meantime, we're going to continue getting you set for tonight's game, our players to watch, our keys to victory, both lineups, as I would say both these teams are in a similar uncomfortable position this week. Maybe more comfortable for the Flyers, but very uncomfortable for the Maple Leafs as they sit at the bottom of the Atlantic and are probably deciding who is worth building or rebuilding or tooling around on this roster.
Yeah, I would say so. Probably a little bit more comfortable if you're Danny Briere and the Philadelphia Flyers because you are where you're supposed to be. I guess maybe you can make the argument that the Maple Leafs are where they're supposed to be, but last in the Atlantic was at least not predicted in this room. I'll put it that way. The Maple Leafs are always, gearing up for an important week when the trade deadline is on the other side of this work week. But it is a far different tone. For the first time in a long time, the Maple Leafs should be sellers and will be sellers, frankly. And the success and failure will not be, hey, which asset is going to fit into their lineup in a championship pursuit, but who can you actually extract value from on this current lineup?
Well, we teased this idea in our regular show, our fan pregame, just about our thoughts on a retool versus a rebuild. And I will stand firmly in the rebuild column. Ooh. I just feel like we went through it for the last couple of days and weeks and months, and I'm finding less and less reason to believe in, the few pieces that are locked in here long term as being just an easy tweak away. I'll go through just my thoughts on the trade, but OEL, I think we can agree, probably an option to be traded, and I think that's probably a good move. His value is extremely high, and I think teams would be interested in him.
Free agent guy, you could turn that into something. That'd be a good story for Brad Living to tell.
Bobby McMahon, UFA. I feel like we're in agreement that
found money too. If you can turn that into an asset.
Scott Laughton is the one I'm like, man, I just like the Scott Laughton story. Hey, maybe you trade him to the Avs and he comes back in the offseason and wants to be here. Sure,
it will be tough to spin that unless you can get that first round pick back.
Yarncroke. See ya.
Take what you can get.
Robertson is an RFA, and he's always been a guy that's been on the trade block. It might be the year for him. Stetcher's a UFA. I think it's sad because I've really come to love Troy Stetcher and think he's been an important piece. He's not even in the lineup tonight. So.
Yeah, for me, everyone's got a price tag. And if the seller or the buyer doesn't meet the price tag, I think you got to think about holding on. Like, I don't think what happens over the last 20-ish games means anything. I think that you have to make sure that you are selling these assets appropriately. And there's some guesswork there, certainly. But if no one comes calling for Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and in the summer months, his market will be better, I just think you got to forecast that correctly. Like, again, I don't think just accepting a second round pick, 60th overall for Oliver Ekman-Larsson is going to put you in the direction you want to be. I think you got to be real careful with what you're doing because the quality of these moves, in my opinion, is more important than the quantity right in this exact moment. So, again, there's a lot that goes into it. And I think the biggest concern, if you're a Maple Leaf fan, is like, okay, the guy who's making these moves, do we know if he's got any, like, real backing
security
inside the organization? Because there's some danger in letting someone who is, half in, half out. And I don't know if that's the case, but I'm just, concerned with the situation, whether that's the right thing to be doing. So again, there's so much that goes into this. Hopefully they can have a successful deadline where they're selling off assets, but I just don't think it's guaranteed.
And then I think the offseason, not to just like use all our conversation now, but I mean, Riley conversation could happen in the offseason. I'm also not opposed to getting rid of one of these two goaltenders that have been a good duo, but there's some teams that really need a goaltender.
Yeah. That might
and Hildeby's great.
That might be your best asset right now is Anthony Stolarz, who's played well, but like there's only so much you can do, especially when your video team is also taking goals off the board for you. Just not on that last offside, I suppose.
It'll be an interesting week. We've got Molson Leafs hockey tonight. We've got Molson Leafs hockey on Wednesday. They also play a Thursday night game before the deadline on Friday. So 3 games stand between us and the Friday deadline at 3 p.m. So we will see how different this team looks on our following broadcast the next week on a Thursday. Okay.
Let's see how the lineup looks tonight. There is one specific change. Nick Robertson coming out. I guess there's 2 because Philippe Myers is playing for Troy Stetcher. But I think the most interesting thing is that not Easton Cowan. Nick Robertson is out. Easton Cowan is in, but not directly for one another. Okay, so Bobby McMahon's go back to top line. Austin Matthews and William Nylander. That's a change. 2 top guys are playing together. We'll see if that sparks anything. Matthew Nyes, John Tavares, Max Domi will be the second line. Happy birthday to Max Domi. Michelli, Nick Waugh, and Dakota Joshua form the third line. That'll be Lorentz, Laughton, and Cowan. Even in a moment like this, Laughton is stapled to the fourth line center role. Riley and Carlo, Benoit and McCabe, OEL, and Philippe Myers. So some changes to the back end as well. It'll be Anthony Stolarz in net.
How about the Philadelphia Flyers?
Well, the Philadelphia Flyers will have Dan Vladar in net, but their lineup is as follows. Trevor Zegras will play with Christian Dvorak and Owen Tippett. Matvei Mishkov with Noah Cates and Bobby Brink. Denver Barkey, the bestie of Easton Cowan, playing with Sean Couturier and Nikita Gurbankin, an old friend. Nick Delorier, Carl Grundstrom, another old friend, and Garnet Hathaway form the rugged fourth line. Travis Sanheim, a Canadian Olympian, will play with Rasmus Ristolainen, a Finnish Olympian. Cam York and Jamie Drysdale form the second pairing. Nick Seeler and Emile Andre are the third pair. And again, it is Dan Vladar in net.
Well, let's, why don't you ask me about my players, plural, to watch? Because you just spoke a lot.
Great segue. The Player to Watch is presented. I will speak more. Player to Watch is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Who do we got?
Okay, I've got 3 for you. Of course, I'll start with former Flyer, 12-year career, Scott Laughton, stapled to the fourth line. But you know what? That guy plays with a lot of pride, and he's also maybe a trade candidate showcasing himself. So 7-1 for an anytime goal. I'll also give you Max Domi, who's the birthday boy tonight. He is plus 400 for a goal, and I'm finding out he has turned 31 today. And then because we talked about it with Sam, and because it's Easton Cowan, I don't know, spring, because hopefully he plays a lot more, and he scored against the Flyers both times, plus 450 for Easton Cowan tonight. I think one of those three will hit, maybe more.
Okay, that would be an improvement. Not necessarily a direct improvement. What?
I always get a player to watch.
No,
the
just
scores.
for the Leafs. Like if they're getting a variety of goal scorers, that would be a very positive.
I thought you meant on
story
my players to watch because I feel like my success rate is quite high.
No, you're performing better than the Maple Leafs.
I am. Let's get to the key to victory, brought to you by Rona. When your basement boards are more scuffed up than your local rinks, Rona's got what you need to build it back right. Visit Rona.ca for more details. Build it right, build it Rona.
How about we go back to basics a little bit, just like general output. 2 shots on 4 attempts in the first period last time out for the Toronto Maple Leafs, who lost. You were in the building to the Ottawa Senators.
I had
Battle of Ontario.
more beverages than shots.
More beverages in the first period than shots for the Maple Leafs?
I think that's fair.
That would have been a plus money price that you could have been on Bet365. But, that's a problem, right? We need output. We need output earlier than the second period. So just generally, can the Maple Leafs get going offensively with shots and attempts and scoring chances? I think the key to victory would be just not waiting on that.
Very well said. Final piece of business, I feel like we really jammed all these in here, is the injury report brought to you by Popeyes. Score a Popeyes chicken sandwich for only $6. And classic or spicy, make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at a Popeyes near you. It is just lonely Chris Tanev on the injury report tonight, and I don't know when we will see him back, but we wish him well because he would have been a great piece of this Toronto blue line, and unfortunately, I feel like I'll be reading his name a lot on this injury report to the end of the season.
Could he have saved the season? Probably not, but I think things would have looked a little bit.
He's worth like 4 wins.
Yeah, honestly? Yeah.
His WAR, 4.
Good WAR. Good WAR for Chris Tanev. Maybe the best WAR on the team because it's been real
grim.
Grim without him, yeah.
Okay, anything that we missed in our hour 40 pregame show that you would like to bring up in the next 1 minute?
Not particularly. I think we
nailed
covered
it.
off all the bases, but let me just, we're seeing Stolarz again tonight. Clearly more comfortable giving up him at the deadline, I imagine, than Joseph Wall.
Yes.
Do you think Stolarz could go?
I actually would encourage it. I don't know how
It almost makes too much sense. I don't know why it's not something that's talked about.
Why aren't we talking about this more? Let's start talking about it on our show, and then someone will listen, and then they'll pick him up. But I thought Hildeby did really well in his small time with the Leafs, and I know they were really protective about his opportunity in the NHL, but I don't know. I'd be happy with him and Stolarz or him and Wall. Like, if you're in a rebuild, retool, boom, there you go.
Yeah, if you're not going to win next year, which I think at least a retool would signify, the goaltender who is 32 years old, cost controlled for the next 4 seasons after this one, who hasn't been able to prove that he can be the dominant guy, but certainly an effective guy, he might be one of your better trade assets.
Alrighty, so Puck Drop with Joe Bone and Jim Ralph is next. It's Leafs and Flyers from Scotiabank Arena. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sports at 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Don't miss MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training.
This is what I love.
Great to have spring training finally be here.
Tune in as we visit with all 30 teams across Arizona and Florida.
If this team is healthy, they're a really good team.
This kid can hit. He works the count as good as anybody.
Hear from the star players, managers, and front office executives.
Joey's really changed the landscape.
MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training all week long on Sirius XM Channel 89 and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scores!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
and stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under Review
With Mick Kern.
11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio.
Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app. NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative. Well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio. Sirius XM 91 and the Sirius XM app.
The hockey talk never stops on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Bedard and Celebrini, they've been this good this quickly. This has set us up for the next 20 years.
Our lineup of former players and team executives give you an inside look at what happens on the ice and in the front office.
The season being so condensed, any small little off-ice issue turns into a tsunami.
Plus, you'll hear the biggest matchups every night. To McDavid, it's all on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck.
Step your game up.
That has never changed. In fact, this show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Shoots it. Score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
"22 games remaining. Trade deadline on Friday, and two teams that are spinning their wheels collide here tonight at Scotiabank Arena. And the superintendents of the Spring Shanties is brought to you by Molson. Molson, everyone in. Anthony Stolarz, 7-8-1 this season, 3.51 goals against average. Is 4-2-0 lifetime against the Flyers. And at the other end of the rink, it is Dan Vladar. He is 18-9-6, 2.42. 0-2-4 lifetime against the Maple Leafs with a 3.57 goals against average. Teams are at center ice. Matthews getting the start for the Maple Leafs with McMahon and Nylander, and we are underway as the puck is dropped. Nylander unable to steal it away there from Ristolainen, and it is sent into the Toronto zone. Flyers swinging it around the boards, but Nylander will cut it off on the far wing. Steps back into his own zone, tries to work wide, then sends it back to the defense, looks for a return pass, and it is brought out slowly now on the left wing to Riley, who gets it ahead for McMahon. McMahon to the right wing side, and Brandon Carlo will shoot it into the Flyer zone. Leafs after it as it bounces high to the blue line and out at center ice. Here are three Flyers in across the line, four Flyers. Finally, the back-checking catches up to them. The pass into the corner, and Philadelphia organizing there. Back to the point it goes, trying to make a move on the far side is Owen Tippett. Peterborough native sends it to the side of the goal. Riley pokes it back into the corner for Carlo, and Matthews will try to skate out with it and then circle back into his own zone. Leafs get it ahead for Benoit. He's going to roll it in over the line and get the rest of the change going for Toronto. Flyers back in their own end. Pass up the middle to center. Fed in on the right wing side for Bobby Brink. He couldn't catch up to it. It goes around the boards, and Tavares, a nifty little pass on the left wing to Benoit, and a long shot. Big rebound off the pad of Vladar, but he's able to cover up on it. And he'll hold for face-off, and we get the opportunity to once again bring in the greatest color analyst in the history of the sport. Oh, he's not here tonight. Oh, Jimmy Ralph is back.
I was going to say, you missed the last line I gave you.
Yeah. All around nice guy. That part.
Handsome.
Well,
That was the part you didn't read.
I didn't read that part, no. And how are you this evening?
Well, we will talk. We'll talk over the next 2.5 hours.
York goes back into his own zone. Pass on the wing from Drysdale, and it is shot down into the Toronto end, and we're going to call icing on this, I guess. So it's coming all the way back into the Toronto zone.
Wait, the referee at center actually waved it off. The Leafs are going to get the face-off in the Philadelphia zone. We were talking about this when we went on the air, where the Leafs are right now, and the trade deadline coming up, and you know what the standings are. Believe me, because I've been through it, these are the hardest games you will ever play. And people think that you don't care and nobody's working hard. It is emotionally and mentally so difficult.
Taxing, yeah. Draw one by the Leafs, and a wrist shot goes off a stick and up into the screen, out of play. The scratches tonight for the Maple Leafs. Calle Yarnbrook, Troy Stetcher, and Nick Robertson are not in the line. This is as healthy as the Leafs have been all season long, other than
Chris Tanev,
Chris Tanev,
which is not insignificant.
No, it's a huge thing. Travis Konechny is not in the lineup for the Philadelphia Flyers tonight.
Only the second game this year that he's missed. He did play the last game against the Boston Bruins.
He is their leading point getter with 57 points. And the Flyers are able to get to center and flip it down into the Toronto end. Played along the boards. It'll come back to the blue line. Fed back in around the far side it goes. Michelli couldn't dig it free. Now he has. Lays it around back of the net for Riley. And Morgan Riley finds Oliver Ekman-Larsson, whose pass ahead for Michelli did not connect. And it'll be an icing call against the Leafs to bring it back into the Toronto zone. The Flyers are in the same predicament that the Maple Leafs find themselves in. Philadelphia is in sixth spot. They have 65 points, 2 more than the Leafs and Florida. They have a game in hand on both Toronto and Florida. But it's a long haul to find Boston, who has 71 points, and Montreal, who have 75, who are the wild card entrance in the postseason at this point. Here's Cam York working the right wing side. A long shot kicked away nicely there by Stolarz. Puck into the corner, trying to drag it out as Zegras got it back in the net. A pass off a skate, and the Maple Leafs are going to get it out into neutral ice, but no further, as Dakota Joshua couldn't come up with it. One shot on goal for each team. Drysdale stretching things out in the Philadelphia zone to allow the rest of his teammates to change. Brought to center by Brink, in on the right wing with a shot. Pad save made there by Stolarz. Kept in at the point by the Flyers. They send it around the boards to the near wing. Nylander late getting there as the puck goes back of the net. Ristolainen trying to come out in front. There's a scramble and a bit of a late whistle from the official to stop play, but it is swallowed up there by Stolarz. TJ Luxmore and Stefan Hiff are the referees. James Tobias and Jonathan Deschamps are the linesmen. I don't believe we've ever had Stefan Hiff do a game for Toronto.
We've seen yet. Philadelphia coming in. They've won 2 straight coming in against the Rangers and the Bruins. 3-1-2 in their last 6, but it was the 12 games before that they hit another dip. 2-8-2. So if you even add the 2 streaks together, just 5 wins in their last 18 games, and that'll put you where you are.
Did you have any help adding that, or did you do that on your own?
I Googled it.
Thank God for Google. There's a penalty coming to Toronto. Cowan got his stick caught in the skates.
Yeah, the evidence is rather damning.
And so Cowan is going to go to the penalty box, and the Leafs are going to be a man short for the first time. And the penalty kill is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. One connection to the workforce you need.
Well, Easton Cowan's had some success against the Flyers. 2 goals in 2 games. Including, you remember, the overtime winner in Philadelphia when Scott Laughton tied it with a shorthanded goal in the 3rd period. Easton Cowan.
And that snapshot on the short-handed rush by... Here's a loose puck in front, and a shot was blocked.
No, that was Montreal.
Oh, that was
Montreal. His other shorty. Yeah.
Brought out on the left wing for Lorenz, who breaks in on goal and got a shot in on Vladar on the short side and was stopped. Now he came out in front and had it knocked off his stick before he could get a shot away.
I mean, the most bizarre thing of late is the Leafs have been better offensively and defensively a man short. Right?
They're fourth in the league as far as penalty killing, but you're right. They generate at least one or two, it seems, opportunities offensively every penalty. And now they start out again with it. Nick Roy coming to center, got it up on the right wing. Carlos sends it into the zone. He'll go to the bench. But Leafs get 2/3 of their, or 3/4 of their penalty kill exchange, and now Roy to the bench as well.
But I like them defensively in the penalty kill more than 5-on-5. Right? They're more aggressive.
Brought in on the left wing by the Flyers. The pass in front. Big save made by Stolars. Denver Barkey breaking in on the right side had a great chance, and the Newmarket native couldn't quite get it underneath Stolars.
And it was Simon Benoit that got beat by Denver Barkey to the front of the net.
First time he's played against the Leafs in Toronto, so I'm sure there's a lot of Barkey fans here in the building.
Scored his first NHL goal in Edmonton against another Newmarket kid.
Yeah, oh, right. All right. You think they have a dog, and would they call him Barkey?
Talking to somebody named Ralph.
Oh, thank you. York on the left wing side goes into the corner. Turning with it now is Barkey back to the point of drive, and that was blocked. And the Leafs are going to punch it out at center ice, and Lawton trying to get it in deep, had it turned over, and now the Flyers are able to counterattack in on the left wing. Down the left wing boards, Barkey got it into the corner. It goes around back to the net, fed back of the blue line, and a long shot, blocked, big rebound in front, cleared off the boards. Lawton has it, and the former Flyers going to send a bouncing shot that goes wide of the goal. Penalty will expire. The Leafs are 1 for 1 in the penalty kill, and in the last 8 games now, 2 of 15, including that kill by the Leaf penalty killers. Puck in the center ice area, Tavares, and across the line to Domi on the right wing. His feed for the front of the net was deflected high and over top of the goal, and now the Flyers are going to break it out into neutral ice. Trying to get it in over the line was Grabenkin, but that's turned over. Domi the other way with a shot that is gloved and held by Vladar to stop play in the Flyer zone. 13:50 to play, first period. Still looking for the opening goal of the contest. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Sports are all about moments.
One of the most incredible, miraculous finishes we have ever seen.
And you can hear them all.
The Seahawks win Super Bowl 60, and the party begins.
As they happen.
And the rags to riches story for Indiana football. They are the national champions.
Live in the moment.
From backs against the wall to back, the Dodgers cement their dynasty.
With live sports on Sirius XM and the Sirius XM app. The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scores!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A 5-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
The Molson Cup is back, and they awarded the winners for January and February. Austin Matthews and William Nylander being feted out. In fact, there was the proprietor and owner of the famous pub in Markham.
Yeah, the last year I played in Newmarket, in the American League. The Leafs
they had the American Hockey League.
Yeah, I won the Molson Cup my last year playing. Well, it was more of a mug than a big trophy cup.
It was a Molson mug.
The world's greatest boss. Huh?
Oh.
You had to give it back.
They picked that up at the Five and Dime on the way to the...
I don't know if I got a picture with it or not. But if I find it, I know you'll want to go.
I want to blow that up and have
funny,
that
the Denver Barkey thing. Remember when long road trips, we'd sit around and we'd come up with teams based on names, players' names.
Yep.
So the all-time second job team was Garth Butcher, Jamie Baker, Darnell Nurse, Andrew Kopp to make up.
Yeah.
And I think we had an all-time K9 team.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, didn't we?
Barkey would be on that.
Jimmy Fox, Dustin Wolf.
Oh, yes.
Alexander Barkov, Lindy Ruff.
Carry on. I'm fine with this. Lockjaw is blocked. The Leafs are going to get it out. Now alley-oop looking for Nylander. He gets it off onto the left wing side, and a wrist shot taken by Oliver Ekman-Larsson went wide of the net.
Jay Beagle, that's right.
Yes, there's a good one. Yes. You used to do this with Kenny. And it used to drive me absolutely nuts. We got an icing call here against the Flyers.
I think
your minds worked the same, and it was amazing what you would come up with.
The minds of 6-year-olds. I think it started with the all-time farm team, and you had to play a game in the NHL to get on it. And it was Jamie Ram was in goal, Todd Ewan, Mark Lamb, Stu Barnes owned the building. Get all the stalls in the dressing room.
Oh, yeah, they were all...
Jordan, Eric. And then sometimes it would be 2 weeks later and you'd come up with another one to add to it.
I'd add to it, yes.
There are some teams we can't even mention.
There were some other teams that had other names. And those will be kept for the printed edition of the book.
It was always just a lot of fun to kill time.
Yes, exactly.
And then you get a text at 3 a.m. Somebody woke up and thought of another one,
yeah. And could hardly wait to tell you. Yeah. Yes, of course. Face on to the right in the Flyer zone, 12:44 to go, and we've wasted the first 8 minutes talking about stupid teams and a scoreless hockey game.
Reminds me of 08.
Yes. Flyers get it out into the center ice area and across the line, off a stick into the near corner. Chopped at by McCabe, and it's gone high and into the screen. And out of play, and a face-off is going to come in the Toronto zone.
And the Leafs really, there are so many ways that you can go through stats and everything else as to why they're in the position they're in. But shots on goal for and against is huge. They have not outshot, or they've only outshot the opposition twice in the last 18 games. And it becomes law of averages, right?
Yeah.
You give up 5 or 6 more shots than you take every night. Law of averages, they start going in off skates.
Yeah. The game is on Prime tonight, so a lot of people are tuning into the radio broadcast, including the Tredget girls down in Florida. Apparently it's 80 degrees there. There's an 80 degrees here today and all that. Oh! Officials took a header there into the corner. He seems to be all right. Puck is back of the Toronto net. Pushed in front, and it is Benoit getting it to McCabe. McCabe's bank pass got to Domi at center, and he'll backhand it into the zone. Nyes into the forecheck, gets a hit in on Cam York. Nyes now trying to pry the puck free to Tavares, and does. Back to the point. Pass in on a deflection there by Dakota Joshua. And that was blocked before it reached the net. Leafs are being outshot 6-3. Here's a point shot coming. Missed the net by 12 feet. Into the corner and around back of the net for Joshua. Centering pass. Cut off by Bobby Brink. Flyers get it out into the center ice area. Might have been 11 and a half feet. I'll recalibrate. Back in his own zone is Matthias Michelli. He gives the puck away, and down the right wing boards or the left wing boards is Garrett Hathaway with a shot, and off the shoulder of Stolars. It ends up in the screen and out of play.
Well, as much as you like the creativity of Matthias Michelli, there have been far too many of those, right? Was Florida not one where gave the puck away along the boards at his own end, trying to make a little backhand pass out, and it was picked off?
Yeah, and the amount of time that they have spent in their own end being hemmed in. I mean, they're being outshot here 7-3, but that just seems to be the norm.
Yeah, 16-2 against Ottawa in the first period Monday or Saturday night.
Played out at center ice. Flyers get it back into the zone, and Carlo sending it around the boards to the far wing, but a pass hits a Flyer and it's maintained, then stolen back by Lawton. He got it ahead for Cowan. Cowan up against the boards, got assistance there from Lorenz, who'll get it into the zone, but Flyers have it under control and get it out at center, and will launch it back into the Toronto end. Stolars dishes it into the corner for McCabe. Up ahead for Matthews. On to Benoit. Leafs are getting the rest of their change complete. McMahon dropping it back, and now Matthews will carry to center and flip it in on the right wing. Strides into the corner after it. Got it around the boards. Benoit trying to pinch down to keep it alive. McMahon got it a little deeper into the corner. Flyers get it out, though, and they'll get it to center, and Benoit is there to find Bobby McMahon. He'll play it back into his own zone again. Benoit for Nylander. Down the left wing board, stops at the red line, played it ahead for McMahon. He's going to backhand it in. Matthews goes into the forecheck. Now Nylander trying to come up with it as it comes around the boards. Myers tried to keep it in, but the Flyers get it out at center, and they get it in on the right wing. Philadelphia working around back of the net. Barkey trying to play it back behind the goal as it comes around on the near wing. Flyers get it back to the point. Jamie Drysdale to the left wing side. Drop pass, and a shot by York was kicked away by Stolars. Off the boards, it's going to come back to the blue line. Drysdale to York. Off a stick. Brought back to center ice now by the Leafs, and it is Tavares sending it down into the zone. Tavares into the forecheck, can't come up with it. And the Flyers are going to get it up on the right wing and get it out at center with Owen Tippett having difficulties with it there, but the Flyers get it back in over the line. Drysdale trying to split the defense but fails, and Domi will get it out at center, and now Morgan Riley trying to stretch things out, gets it to the wing, and is shot deep into Flyer territory. 8 minutes and 40 seconds to play in period number 1. There is no score. Dvorak unable to get into the Leaf zone. Now a pass up on the right wing for Tippett. Tippett drops it back. Dvorak to the point. Fed over by Andre to the left wing side. A shot in traffic. Down is Stolars. The puck squirts free and goes wide of the goal. Flyers on the near wing. And pass intercepted. Played in front of the net. Knocked down there by Benoit. Got it ahead for Andre Roy. And he'll get it out at center. And Michelli trying to find Joshua, but had it knocked away there by Christian Dvorak out of midair. What do we got here?
I think we got a high sticking penalty maybe coming up to the Leafs. Nick Waugh is going right to the penalty box, and not much of an argument.
Second power play opportunity of the game, and the power play is brought to you by... the penalty kill is brought to you by... Where the hell are we on this thing? Oh, here we are. Brought to you by Express Employment Professionals.
You're going to need them.
The workforce. Nah, I'm retiring. I'll be fine. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
Hockey. It's taken over our basements, our driveways, and our backyards. And at Rona, we wouldn't change a thing. That's why we make sure your home can take any hits hockey throws its way. So hockey can keep taking over your laundry rooms, your living rooms, your garages, your kitchens. Make sure your home is ready for hockey season with Rona. Build it right, build it Rona.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid, no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout. Just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365. An official betting partner of the NHL. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The shot scores! Bobby McMahon with the shot from the right point.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Flyers on the power play as they work it down into the corner. Now back to the point. York, far side, and a shot deflected wide of the goal by Stolars. On the boards is Lawton trying to pry it free. Got it to the line, but not out. Drysdale into the slot area. What a chance that is. Great glove save made by Stolars. Kept alive into the corner. That was right in the hash marks in front of the net. Zegras has his pass intercepted. A late feed trying to find Lorenz, had it knocked away, and Lorenz sends it back into his own zone. There was another opportunity. It looked like there was going to be a good short-handed rush. Lorenz and Lawton have done a marvelous job doing that. And now we get a whistle.
Too many men, maybe.
Yes.
Against Philadelphia.
Linesman, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now, but yeah. Philadelphia bench minor penalty. Too many men on the ice.
All right, so 4-on-4 for minute 1, barring any more penalties. As the Leafs will get a break here, but you're right, the save, Anthony Stolars gets that left hand up, doesn't catch it, but bats it up into the air and the puck's cleared. Shots are 11-3 for the Flyers. Combine that to 16-2 for Ottawa on Saturday night in the first period. Quick math, 27-5. Wow.
Sure? You sure?
Harmon? Between him and Andrew.
Oh, yeah, one of them should be able to match. Yeah. Well, you know what? Andrew's got his shoes off, so he's double checking.
There goes the 27.
Flyers win the face-off. Drysdale back of the goal. Stolen puck and a shot there by Lawton, and it just went wide. Domi keeping the puck in at the blue line. To Lawton. Drop past Domi. Domi circles back towards the blue line, looks to make a pass, got a return feed, but it was intercepted, and now skating out at center and rolling it down way out of the goal comes Stolars to play it out into neutral ice. Drysdale back in for the Flyers. A shot taken by Zegras, and it went just wide. Rebound back of the Toronto net. Leafs will go on the power play in 15 seconds' time. Matthews coming out of his own zone, circles back. Dropping it off again, now in 8 seconds. The penalized Leaf will come out. And it is a pass to Nylander, who carries down the right wing boards to the left wing. It goes to Tavares. He stops up, has difficulty on the boards, and the Flyers get the puck out into the center ice area and down into the Leaf end. Willie Nylander had 20 feet off the boards to carry that into the zone. And decided to come to the near side where there was more traffic. Here's Matthews in over the line. Off a skate, it comes to center ice. And the Leafs are going backwards. Half a minute to go in the power play. Brought in over the line by Nyes. Drop pass goes to Nylander. Makes a move down low for Nyes. Poked wide of the goal by Nylander on a loose puck. Tavares finds Willie in the near corner. Back to the point it goes to Riley. Back to Nylander on the near half boards. Holds down low and back of the goal. Tavares. Matthews being hounded. Matthews got it back to the point. Now to Willie. A pass in front. And the one-timer by Nyes was kicked aside by Vladar. Best scoring chance the Leafs have orchestrated. Another shot is stopped by Vladar. And he grabs the rebound off the stick of Morgan Riley. Well, it took them a while. But once they did get in the offensive zone, they produced a couple of real good scoring chances that have gone for naught. Still no score in the hockey game. And you're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Don't miss MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training.
This is what I love.
Great to have spring training finally be here.
Tune in as we visit with all 30 teams across Arizona and Florida.
If this team is healthy, they're a really good team.
This kid can hit. He works the count as good as anybody.
Hear from the star players, managers, and front office executives.
He's really changed the landscape.
MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training all week long on Sirius XM Channel 89 and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scores!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A 5-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Radio Network.
We were talking during the commercial break. You really do need a bigger title for shots on goal. Like I thought Grand Poobah.
No.
No?
That way it sounds like you're mocking me.
And your point is?
Assistant to the Director of Shots on Goal Accumulation.
Showering Division.
Showering Division. If you're a fan of planes, trains, and automobiles like us, John Candy.
He had a very important job, though.
Yes.
Played out at center ice, and the Leafs have it back at their own blue line. A bank pass ahead, and it is Joshua sending it into the zone. Roy late getting there. The Leafs get it free, and a shot scores! Joshua! Dakota Joshua opens the scoring for the Maple Leafs on a pretty little feed that was made from the left wing corner by Matias Maccelli.
Maccelli and Waugh got in on the forecheck. Flyers tried to reverse it. Was cut off by Maccelli and fed out to Nick Waugh, who in one motion drags it. Little curl and drag. And a quick release to the far side, glove side on Dan Vladar from the left wing circle. As the Leafs up 1-0. Joshua's 7th goal of the season. The other 6, Joe, 3 times this year he scored in back-to-back games. Now, one he did it where he was suspended for one, but scored the game before, got suspended, then scored in his first game back. But it's been a rather bizarre season for him, and of course, an injury that kept him out of the lineup for a long time until the Olympic break.
Seventh of the year for Joshua. Michelli and Arroy will draw the assists on the goal. And the Maple Leafs open the scoring for the second straight game. On their seventh shot. A goal and a giveaway and a shot here. Oh my. The Leafs a wraparound stop by Stolars. That came from behind the net and right out in front of the goal.
Simon Benoit, Joe. Kind of had a rough opening 17 minutes. You remember Denver Barkey got behind him for a great scoring opportunity earlier in the period.
Played down into the Flyers zone. Around on the boards, it goes to the far wing for Zegras. He loses it. A pass in front of the net off the crossbar. Matthews set up by Nylander. Played down into the zone, and a penalty coming here to Toronto. And it'll be touched here by Matthews, and that will bring about the third power play opportunity for the Philadelphia Flyers. And I have the proper read this time. The Leafs penalty kill is brought to you by Express Employment Professionals. One connection to the workforce I might need.
Yes. What's the number?
1-800-I-GOT-FIRED.
Brandon Carlo going to the box holding is going to be the official call. So third power play for the Flyers. Last one, of course, was cut short. Too many men on the ice penalty by Philadelphia. Philadelphia was just 1 for 10 in the last 4 on the power play coming into this game.
Puck on the far boards. Lawton got it along in back of the net. Leafs lose the puck back of the goal as McCabe was let go on what could have been a tripping penalty. A shot goes wide of the net. Benoit got it ahead. Lawton trying to get it out against the boards, but runs into traffic and then is able to backhand it out and down the ice.
You find the Leafs are much more aggressive on the points, killing penalties in 5-on-5.
Yes. Still haven't figured out why.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
Puck goes out of play here.
Obviously, sometimes you're going to get, the two forwards drawn back down. But I really like the fact that puck goes back to the point and there's pressure right away.
First period is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why. It's never ordinary at Bet365. Lawton and Lorenz have done an outstanding job all season since put together penalty killing. And it's one of the reasons why the Leafs are fourth in the NHL in that department. Last 8 games now, they are 2 of 16 have allowed. Played along the boards for Roy. Roy against the wall, got it freed up back of the net, poked ahead, and now sent around the boards, and it's going to trickle out at center ice. Owen Tippett playing it back to the defense with 1:56 to go in the period. Drysdale gets it off the left wing boards, and it's rung around the wall. It's going to come back to the near side, and unable to keep it in is Zegras. Trevor Zegras to the bench after that, and brought in now by Philadelphia across the line. Barkey works to the left wing boards, chopped it high into the corner. Flyers get it back to him on the far half boards. Back to the point it goes. Walking the line is York to the left wing side. Barkey centers a puck in front of the goal. They jam away at it and they score. Take your pick. Cates, Dvorak. It appears that Dvorak got it last, but there were 3 Flyers right in the goal crease area, banging away at it, and the power play goal ties the game at 1.
And I think this is one of those, Joe, where you're the defense, you just got to start rifling bodies. Philip Myers kind of got caught out trying to force up the top of the circle. And that left Dvorak alone in behind Morgan Riley in front of the net, the top of the crease. And this is one that just kind of rattled around between the pads of Anthony Stolarz and eventually over the goal line. So Leafs 3 penalties in the first period. One has finally bit them.
Dvorak with his 13th of the season, second by way of the power play. And now Nyes trying to work it out in front of the net. Got it free. Tried to drag it out for a jam play at the post. But the Flyers bring it back, and Ristolainen works it in over the line with a long shot that goes well wide of the net. Caroms all the way to center ice. And Jamie Drysdale, the Toronto native, takes it back into his own zone. Drysdale around back of the net. Nyes chasing him. Pass off a stick. Force back of the net again. Drysdale with 38 seconds left in the period has it behind the Flyer goal. Played off onto the left wing side. York comes to center. Backhands it deep into the Toronto end. Poked around back of the net for Benoit. Benoit looking up ice. Got it to Nylander. Nylander's pass for Bobby McMahon was too far. McMahon able to steal. Dozen seconds left in the period. Matthew centers. Shot by Benoit went wide of the net. Nylander trying to pry it free in the far corner. Flyers trying to just run the clock out, and they will succeed in doing that as the period comes to an end. And the Leafs and Flyers are going to be even 1-1 at the end of one. Shots on goal for the first period brought to you by Youngblood. It's the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. From Academy Award nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood, only in theaters starting March the 6th.
Well, again, we mentioned the Leafs have only outshot the opposition twice in the last 18 games. That trend's continuing here, 13-7. The shots favoring the Flyers, although power plays were 3-1 Philadelphia in the opening frame.
So it is a 1-1 tie. Dvorak from Cates and Barkey after Joshua from Michelli opened the scoring. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
That is what happened. I ain't guessing, I'm telling you. Nobody breaks down the nightly drama of the NBA quite like Stephen A.
See, it's the theater. It ain't just a game. It's the theater of the game. You got to live for that.
The Stephen A. Smith Show on Sirius XM.
Oh, it's going to be special. It's going to be special.
Weekdays at 1 and 6 Eastern.
A show so nice, you get it twice.
On Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82 in the car, and the Sirius XM app.
You're live with Stephen A.
This show is phenomenal.
The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scores!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A 5-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative, well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate, weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The hockey talk never stops on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Bedard and Celebrini, they've been this good this quickly. This has set us up for the next 20 years.
Our lineup of former players and team executives give you an inside look at what happens on the ice and in the front office.
The season being so condensed, any small little off-ice issue turns into a tsunami.
Plus, you'll hear the biggest matchups every night. To McDavid, it's all on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen, walks in, put it between his legs, shoots it, score!
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM.
And the Leafs Radio Network.
Sending it into the zone. Roy late getting there. The Leafs get it free and a shot scores! Joshua! For the Maple Leafs on a pretty little feed that was made from the left wing corner by Matthias Michelli.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. The first intermission is brought to you by Popeyes. Score a Popeyes chicken sandwich for only $6 in classic or spicy. Make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at a Popeyes near you. It is 1-1 after 20 minutes between the Leafs and the Flyers, thanks to a goal by Joshua. That was really pretty. A nice forecheck by Waugh and Michelli. Great pass. Boom. Goal for the Maple Leafs. They get on the scoreboard first, and later there is a goal by the Flyers on a power play, but a good start there.
Certainly was. You like opening the scoring. If you're the Toronto Maple Leafs, you like to see Dakota Joshua scoring goals. Obviously, it's been a rough season. It's been a rough couple seasons for Dakota Joshua, who has run into some serious injury hard luck and some health hard luck and scary things in terms of his health. So good to see him back at the Maple Leafs. It hasn't been a perfect debut year for him, but that's exactly what they went out and got him for, I think. Like maybe he does a little bit more of the forechecking instead of Nick Waugh and Matthias Michelli, and he's not the one burying it, but you expected him to score a couple goals in a Leaf sweater, and that third line was able to produce in the absence of Mitch Marner, I suppose. The three guys brought in at least produced on this night.
That's true. It was a good forechecking, I guess, appearance by Waugh and Michelli. Joshua in the right place, right time. I think you're right about this being a difficult debut year for him. I'd like to see him get a full year of health with the Leafs and to see what he could be, because I think he's obviously got a lot more than what we've seen this year. His 7th goal in the season, obviously with a lot of injury and a lot of hard luck for him. So that's a guy that, you see what happens next year, I think. I'm not going to be selling him off. You just go and...
You wouldn't trade to go to Joshua if given the opportunity?
Okay, yeah, but I'm saying he's not at the top of my list to get rid of this guy.
No, I mean, I think that's fair. And I think
if somebody wants him, then I'm open. The cupboards are open, but he's not on my list of...
Be difficult to move him, I think.
Yes, I agree. So I think he needs a good offseason and a full year with the Maple Leafs. Anyway, a couple other things that... there was 2 penalties for the Maple Leafs that were hilarious. Like if you drew up tripping, it was Easton Cowan.
Yep, pretty textbook.
And then the Carlo, I guess what they call it, interference or hooking.
It was holding.
Holding, yes,
it was
pretty
basically an open ice tackle to make sure that Trevor Zegras didn't dance in 2-on-1.
Yeah, sometimes we complain about the refs, but I think they nailed it on those two. I mean, it was pretty clear.
Yep, pretty clear. Only 13 minutes of 5-on-5 ice in the game. I guess 14 minutes of even strength. A couple penalties, sort of muddying the waters a little bit. It was decent at 5-on-5 for the Maple Leafs, 6 scoring chances apiece, but Philly was able to tilt the ice a little bit. They were certainly their most dangerous on the power play, which is not exactly a hot take, but take a few more penalties and the Maple Leafs will be playing with fire a little bit.
Didn't see too much pop from, Matthews or Nylander, but there was this one play, and they're playing together. If you missed the lines early on, they're on that top line together. Nylander's so good at creating scoring chances, and he makes like a nifty little move right beside the crease and dishes it out to Matthews, who hits the crossbar, and that was like a pretty dangerous scoring attempt for them. And it doesn't matter how small of a space you give William Nylander, he finds a way to create something out of it, and I just thought that was a really good representation of his ability to be creative. Puts it right on the tape of Matthews, who hits the crossbar. That would have been a really nice goal. I'm sure those two will get a couple more chances throughout this game, possibly, but I thought that was a nice peek at what can happen between those two guys when they're on the top line together.
Yeah, I don't know if this is the pathway forward for this team and this group, and I guess those two specifically, but it is a reflection of what they're working with, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, you don't want to, like, it just feels weird to be like ragging on John Tavares in this moment. Like, you know, he's kind of absolved from a lot of criticism. But in order for this to function, like the Tavares line, whoever's on the second line, it has to work. And right now, I think in terms of like underperforming guys, yeah, there's a long list, but underperforming, critical to the success, like have to be great guys. I think Tavares is still on the list, and Matthew Knies is definitely on that list. So yeah, you can stack the top unit and maybe rediscovering chemistry that once existed between Matthews and Nylander is key, because maybe in a future Leaf team, those two are going to be playing together and have to be great together in order for them to be once again a great team. But that'll probably require, you know, maybe Tavares moved to the wing, maybe a second line center brought in. Like there's so many things you could do with this lineup in time and eventually. But I think it's worth rediscovering, or seeing if you can rediscover if Nylander and Matthews can form, you know, what was once here through, you know, a long time ago with them two, and of course what we saw on the top line for many years previously.
I mean, might as well. If this rest of this season is going to be as we expect, not about winning games, it might be about winning combinations that bring your team closer to the ultimate goal in the offseason or the year after. So if you can create something special that sticks with those two, why not? I mean, it makes it interesting to watch.
Yeah, it was about it. As interesting as that first period could be.
Yes. Well, we will take a quick break. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard on the other side. We'll get you set for the second period. It's 1-1 after 20 minutes, Leafs and Flyers. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
From Academy Award-nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. When hockey prodigy Dean Youngblood is called up to join the Hamilton Mustangs, he must face off against aggressive behavior on and off the ice to fulfill his promise and take his shot at being drafted into the National Hockey League. Youngblood, starring Blair Underwood and Aston James. Only in theaters this Friday.
The legendary Yeti, born to handle ice, snow, and the harshest conditions imaginable.
Hey, that's like a Subaru with all-wheel drive.
The mighty Yeti uses its impressive strength to navigate any terrain.
Like the X mode in a Subaru.
No one knows exactly what they do out there.
Usually snowboarding, sometimes skating if I find a pair that fits. Legendary winters await, so hurry into your local Subaru dealer for lease and finance rates as low as 0.5%. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Subaru, uncommon comes standard.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
I want to learn how to cook, but I keep ordering takeout.
Accomplishing goals is hard, but when your goal is to learn a new language, Babbel makes it easy. In just 15 minutes a day, Babbel will help you start having conversations in as little as 3 weeks. Words and phrases you'll actually use. So when someone asks, "How's your French going?" you can say,
Babbel facilite grandement l'apprentissage d'une nouvelle langue.
Now save up to 50% on your Babbel subscription at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
It's cold out there, folks. Minus 35. Perfect for going out today. And
Leave the winter blues behind when you give and get away at Canadian Blood Services. Escape to Donor Center this winter and leave feeling a little lighter, brighter, and better. And when you book an attend a blood or plasma appointment, you have a chance to win round-trip tickets for two, courtesy of Air Canada Foundation. No donation required. Give and get away this winter. Book at blood.ca/getaway and experience what you get when you give. Conditions apply. See full draw rules for details.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The cross in front, they score!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. The Out-of-Town Scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Okay, interesting night in the NHL because we got a lot of late games and we already have a final. The Red Wings this afternoon beat the Nashville Predators 4-2. Marco Kasper had a pair of assists in that one. Only one other game ongoing, and the Blue Jackets are dominating that one. 4 minutes left in the second period. Rangers trailing the Blue Jackets 4-0. Marchenko, Monahan, Olivier, and Adam Fantilli have goals in that one. 3 games to come tonight, including an important one for the LA Kings. They will host the Avalanche after Jim Hiller was let go. Hurricanes and Kraken from Seattle as well. And the Stars will be in Vancouver taking on the Canucks.
Okay, not a bad first period for the Leafs. Good to get on the scoreboard first. They gave a power play goal near the end of the period. But, yeah, I mean, this is Molson Leafs hockey for the next little stretch. What are we finding positive about this lineup?
Well, the key to victory was not exactly satisfied. The shot total is and was certainly very lopsided early in the game. I think it got to about 12-3. Like, the Leafs offensively, output-wise, it's tough. I just don't know. I understand there's been changes to the lineup, but offensively, I don't know why they're struggling to the extent that they are. And we'll see if that continues in the final 40 minutes.
We sure will. It is 1-1 after 20 minutes, and Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph will have the call of the second period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Build a championship fantasy baseball team with the expert advice of Sirius XM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Focus on players that impact as many categories as possible.
Hear winning strategies and player projections from former Major League General Managers Jim Bowden and Steve Phillips.
I'm definitely going to take a position player with my first 2 picks.
Don't be left with the bat on your shoulders. Swing for the fences. And dominate your fantasy baseball draft with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative. Well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A 5-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scored!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
The biggest names in the game.
Trying to get behind Ristolainen. Walks in. Put it between his legs. Let's go.
NHL play-by-play on Sirius XM Network.
Leafs 1 and the Flyers 1. Joe Bowen along with Jim Ralph, Armin Zagarian and Andrew Holland down here creating absolutely nothing while Andrew Adams is running the operation back home at Command Central. I think, are we there? Yeah, we're there on Wednesday, I think, at the studio when the Leafs are in New Jersey.
First trip to Jersey this year, isn't it? I believe.
Yeah. It's one of those rare
blips in the schedule.
No, all three New York teams, right?
Yeah. And I only remember Islanders, Rangers back-to-back.
Bouncing puck in the no traffic zone, and Stolarz almost played it.
I thought he did.
I think too. No penalty, and a long shot stopped. The rebound is fired wide at the other end of the rink at the Flyer net, and it comes out at center ice.
Stolarz just came out waiting for the puck to get around the boards into the area that he could play it. And I mean, there wasn't much reaction from the Flyers. I thought he touched it.
I did too.
I'm going to take a look at it again. It goes off the skate of Trevor Zegras. But I think
it's funny because Zegras just went down and waved at Stolarz or whatever. I guess because he knocked him down. That's what it was. All right. Yeah. So he apologized to him. You know what? That's after he watched the last game when Stolarz drilled a guy with his blocker. So maybe he'd say, I better get on the good side of him. He seems to be a little ornery these days. Here's Domi in with a shot from a sharp angle, stopped by Vladar. Back of the net, Tavares trying to find Nice. Couldn't wrap it around. Tavares gets the loose puck, though, along the boards, but can't keep it in as it comes to center. Myers to his defense partner, and up on the left wing it goes for Nyes. Nyes in the far half board stops it up into the corner now for Domi. Domi trying to come out of the far corner with it, slides it back to the point. A shot deflected wide of the goal, and it bounces off the glass and came to the side of the net. Vladar was on the opposite side of the goal. Flyers get a break there. They'll get it down into the Leaf end. Collision in the far corner. That's drawn a fairly large crowd. 3 Leafs and 2 Flyers. Brink trying to control it, but Domi got it freed up, and now Roy skates it out at center and chips it down into Flyer territory. Drysdale around back of the net. Centering pass! Oh, stolen puck behind the net by Dakota Joshua. And Michelli misses that, and then another shot goes off a stick and ramps up into the screen. What a horrific giveaway that was.
Boy, this was trying to reverse it behind the net, and similar to the Leafs scored their goal in the first period by Dakota Joshua. It was cut off by Nick Waugh and thrown right out in front to Matthias Michelli, and he could not beat Dan Vladar. I don't know if Vladar got his glove on it.
I don't think so. I think Michelli just over top of it.
Yeah, the Leafs don't get a credit for a shot on goal.
Flyers have sent it down into the Toronto end, and an icing call coming here.
Well, I will say I like the way the Leafs have come out first 2 minutes of this period.
Even with the late start, it didn't help, though.
No. But I mean,
because their first periods have been so bad lately.
Like I said, I mean, I think as much as I know everybody's upset and disappointed that the postseason isn't going to be there this year, but for the likes of Nylander, Matthews, this is a first. Right?
Yep. Puck at the side of the goal. Vladar's got a glove on top of it.
And you can try to think the right things and say the right things, but you know you're in a position where you could have the game of your career, and it's not going to matter because you're still going to miss that goal to get into the postseason. And it's a battle for teams mentally. I mean, you probably believe 3 or 4 games longer than you should that you got a chance. And then when it sets in, there's this malaise comes over you that you've that old saying, being a professional is doing what you love to do on days you don't feel like doing it.
Yep. Leafs keep the puck in the Flyer zone. Into the corner, far side. Michelli chasing after it. It hits a broken stick, and Michelli centers. And Roy sent it off the side of the goal. Michelli gets it back to the point. Riley's shot deflects wide of the net. Good pressure here from the Leafs. It'll be cleared to the line and out at center ice. Brandon Carlo and Morgan Riley exchanging the puck back in the Toronto zone. Ahead it comes, and now Carlo sends it off a stick into Flyer territory. Easton Cowan into the forecheck, couldn't come away with it. Bobby Brink for the Flyers gets it up on the wing and out at center ice for Carl Grundstrom, who can't get into the zone. Back the other way and almost onto the stick of Cowan, as he would have had a break in behind the defense. Now he gets it in the far corner, centers, and a quick shot taken there by Lawton was kicked aside by Vladar. Good save. Puck stolen back by Toronto. Back to the point it goes. Into the slot area for Cowan. He drops the puck off on the wing for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. And a blocking arm save made by Vladar. Sends it up into the screen, out of play. And the Leafs have narrowed the shots on goal to 14-12 here with a solid start over the first 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the second period.
And you consider they had 2 shots in all of the first period against Ottawa Saturday. They've got 5 shots in the first 3.5 minutes or 3 minutes and 26 seconds of the second period here. And then probably their best opportunity, Matthias Michelli, was fired wide of the net from the hash marks.
Draw one by Philadelphia. Played into the far corner by Sandheim. And out at center, it is shot into the Toronto zone. Jake McCabe around back of the net. Lost the handle on it. Benoit has a Flyer down on the ice with the puck somewhat underneath him. Benoit poked it free, but it's gobbled up by Tippett. Tippett on the far half wall, dropping it off. Here's Zegras coming up with a shot, and that is going to be swallowed up by Stolars. And he will stop play. The face-off coming in the Toronto zone.
Zegras and Matthews having a conversation. Trevor Zegras is kind of the golden child. He had the goal, the first Michigan goal in the NHL, where you flip the puck up onto your skate blade and wrap it around from behind the net. It's on the cover of the video game by EA Sports. And then things went a little quiet for him before the trade to Philadelphia, where it looks like his numbers are getting back up there.
Played up on the wing now. The Leafs get it down into Flyer territory. Nylander first to the puck on the boards. Matthews trying to get it in front of the net. And it is poked ahead at center and out into neutral ice. Nylander in across on the right wing with a drive. And that goes off the stick of Sandheim. And caroms up into the screen and out of play. Craig Berube putting Nylander and Matthews together. Along with Bobby McMahon. Leafs getting a change started here.
And we want to have that balanced scoring, but when things are going the way they have been, and really the offense hasn't been there since coming back from the Olympic break. So essentially Nylander and Max Domi have switched spots.
Domi playing with Nyes and Tavares, and will be asked to take the face-off as Tavares is waved out, and he wins it, and Tavares gets it back to the point, and a shot goes high and wide of the goal. Around the board's far side, Brandon Carlo pinches down to keep it in. Domi in the corner on the far side, has it in his skates. Nyes hoping for it to materialize, that he could get to it, but it's poked by Emile Andre, and out at center ice it'll come to center, and the Leafs have to go back for it. Morgan Riley on the far side, now engaged in the corner as Tavares helps him out. Tavares got it in front of his own goal, but no one there except the Leaf defenseman, and now Domi gets a pass and is able to slip it into Flyer territory. In along the boards it goes. Tavares couldn't come up with it. Domi does. Domi then collides with his own man, Nyes, and he is slow to get up. And the puck comes back into the Toronto zone, and a weak shot in on goal will be covered up by Stolars. Domi seems to be all right as he's gone to the bench. That was a pretty good collision with Nyes.
Yeah. Domi isn't still standing in front of the Leaf bench. It's almost like he was waiting for Nice to say, we're going to have a word.
Yeah.
But this was a shoulder right into the chest.
You see this colored jersey?
Yeah.
We're both wearing them.
Yeah, that was a line to Eddie Shack, wasn't it? And he ran into somebody. And I'm not sure whether he was with the Leafs or the Bruins at the time. Somebody grabbed him and said, "See, Eddie, this jersey, same color as yours." After the entertainer took down one of his own men.
Along the boards, it's pushed up on the near wing in the Toronto end. Nylander back in his own zone to Benoit for McCabe, but his pass for Nylander was intercepted. Flyers bringing it back right into the zone. Dvorak taken down on the play there by Benoit, and the Leafs are able to break it out. Matthews coming through neutral ice. It gets off to McMahon. Back into the slot for Nylander. Now to Matthews, closing. Shoots, and it went off of Vladar and just wide of the net. Puck out into the center ice area for Myers. Leafs backpedal in his own zone. Got it ahead for Matthews. Matthews drops it back. Played ahead off Myers' stick and chipped into the Flyers zone, and the Leafs are going to get a change of players started. Philadelphia out ahead at center. 1-1 tie here in the second. Broken up there by Oliver Ekman-Larsson, who got taken down. No penalty. Played around on the far side for Myers. Myers stick handles away from one to find OEL, and out at center ice it's played. And Michelli gives it back to him and works down on the left wing. Matthias Michelli got it freed up into the slot. Carlo can't get a shot away. Does well to keep it in. Roy, back of the net. Michelli, back for Roy. Nick Roy turning in the corner. Taken to the boards. That uses the long reach to get it freed up to play around for Michelli. Back into the corner. Roy around the boards to Morgan Riley at the left point. Riley dishes it off there for Michelli to Roy, looking for Joshua, to Michelli in front, a pass back, and that went wide. Good cycling done here by the Leafs. Michelli with it again, but has it knocked off his stick. And the Flyers, in need of a change, have iced the puck, and that's going to bring it all the way back into the Toronto zone regardless. And Noah Cates, who was doing the best he could to get over the boards, is being hauled off by the linesman and brought back into the Toronto or into the Flyer end for the ensuing faceoff.
Looking, you expect to maybe see the Matthews line come back out on this tired group of Flyers here after that icing, but Scott Laughton's line is coming onto the ice. Stephen Lorenz and Easton Cowan.
Draw to the right of Dan Vladar in the Flyer goal. Won by Philadelphia. Launched to center ice. They'll start to get a change. They get two players exchanged. Brought back in by Cowan. Drop pass goes to Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and it poked out into the center ice area. And Jake McCabe will play it back ahead, and it's shot down into the zone. One more Flyer gets to the bench. Couple of tired defensemen out there, though. Played ahead at center, and Couturier will send it down into the Toronto end. Round back of the net, it comes into the near slot, but it is broken up. Cowan trying to skate it out at center, and he has. Here's Lorenz to Cowan. Drop pass, Lorenz, a shot, and that went wide on the far side.
Boy, again, some of their best scoring chances aren't even shots on goal.
Played down into the Flyer zone again. Chopped around the boards to the left wing side and pushed out into neutral ice. And Philadelphia will bounce it down into the Toronto zone. Morgan Riley. Rink-wide pass goes off the heel of his stick and has caromed up into the Toronto bench. And out of play, and a face-off will come in neutral ice with 11:34 to play in the second period. All the scoring in the first. It's the Leafs 1 and the Flyers 1. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout, just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
An official partner of the NHL, must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. Terms and conditions apply.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, export, ultra, excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
The legendary Yeti thrives in cold environments.
Just like my Subaru, all-wheel drive is like having an extra pair of Yeti legs.
The Yeti's natural habitat is in colder climates, but it's been spotted all over Canada.
Just like Subaru, we go everywhere, enjoying winter with the little ones. They grow up so fast. Legendary winters await, so hurry into your local Subaru dealer for lease and finance rates as low as 0.5%. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Subaru, uncommon comes standard.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Back to the point. Willie with a one-timer scores!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Dakota Joshua for the Toronto Maple Leafs and Christian Dvorak for the Philadelphia Flyers have been the goal scorers in a 1-1 tie here in the second period. Shots on goal are 16-13 favoring Philadelphia. The Leafs in New Jersey on Wednesday night. Draw won by the Flyers. Sandheim gets it back to his defense partner, and it is shot down into the Toronto zone. Around the boards, it'll be played up on the wing for Nyes. He couldn't get it out, and a shot from an angle was stopped by Stolarz. Puck into the corner, and the Leafs come away with it. Three of them break the center. Domi will be the wheelman on the right wing side. Tried to play it in wide of the goal for Tavares, but it was knocked back. Back of the net it goes for Nyes to Domi. Domi, a cross-ice feed for the defenseman pinching in, but never did reach Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Cleared down into the Toronto end. Myers playing it around back of the net. Tied up, but kicking it free was the defenseman Oliver Ekman-Larsson, and Nyes now trying to extricate himself from some checking is going to the bench as the Leafs are trying to change here. Flyers are letting the defense play with it back in their own zone. And now Myers will skate it out at center with a bank pass to the line that didn't connect. And it is cleared right back down to the blue line. And now Nylander turns. Up ahead for Matthews. Nifty move to get in over the line. And a shot is kicked away by Vladar. Puck along to the far corner. Benoit pinches to get it back to the net for the captain. Matthews too out covered by a couple of Flyer players. Puck is still free as it comes around on the wing. Tip free for McMahon to the point for Benoit. Benoit played it in for Nylander. That was blocked. Then kept alive by the Leaf defense into the corner. Matthews won't get there in time, but Nylander does. And the Flyers, though, took it away from him. Brought out at center ice. Tippett getting it to the line and in. A drop pass. Tippett with a shot. Doesn't make it through. Matthews turns back up ice for Toronto. He'll hit the line. Stops up just over the line. Off to the left wing side for players changing as Michelli got it on the left wing. But mishandling the puck there was Morgan Riley. And the Flyers go back into their own zone. Up ahead at center. Brought in by Brink. Goes wide, trying to get it in. Paddle down play by Stolarz to knock it into the corner. Brink centers again. It comes back to the point, left wing side. Sealer with a shot that didn't make it through all of the traffic. Now the Flyers with it again. Back it goes to Sealer once more to the right wing side. A shot wide. Big rebound! Oh, and what a chance Bobby Brink had. Stolarz was late coming across. Now the Leafs get it into the offensive zone, and a shot by Cowan went wide of the goal. Boy, there was a lot of net there, wasn't there?
And one of those ricochets off the backboards and out the other side. And if the goaltender doesn't see the original shot, there's that late reaction, right? You
Where
hear
is
it.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you're in danger of going away from the post that you do have covered to the other side, but not knowing where the puck is. Flyers back in over the line, trying to drive the net. Sealer that was blocked. The rebound comes in front, and it's cleared into the corner on the near side, and Lawton gets it up on the left wing side. Cowan turning in his own zone. Plays it off to Lorenz. Up ahead for Cowan. Now to Lawton, and a shot off the glove. Ladar fought that one off, didn't catch it, but knocked it down into the corner.
Looked like a knuckle, didn't it? Didn't look like a dart off the stick of Scott Lawton.
Well, Bob Uecker taught us how you catch the knuckleball. You wait till it stops rolling and then throw it back.
I don't know if you apply that to goaltending.
Down into the corner and around back of the net in the Leaf zone. Tavares unable to chip it out. Leaf gets it back, and Tavares gets it out into neutral ice. John Tavares will make another return to Long Island. Here's a giveaway, and Stolarz is able to save his defenseman.
Boy, Simon Benoit, he's had some tough moments in this game. He goes back to the goal line to the right of Stolarz and just tries to turn and fire it up the ice in one motion and sort of fans on it and puts it right onto a Flyers stick. And fortunately, Anthony Stolarz was able to get the pads together and keep it from going 5-hole and into the back of the goal.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Here's what's happening on Sirius XM Sports.
3 of the top 4 college hoops teams are on Sirius XM tonight. Right now, Duke's putting its #1 ranking on the line against NC State. Then a huge Big 12 showdown as #4 Iowa State heads to second-ranked Arizona, only on Sirius XM College Sports Radio Channel 84 and the Sirius XM app.
Sirius XM Sports, wherever you are, your team plays here.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
MLS, NWSL, the USL, and more covering the beautiful game here at home. American soccer lives on Sirius XM FC 157.
Work.
We're just reminiscing. Well, I wasn't old enough to remember all of this, but George Hainsworth in the 1929 season had a record 20 shutouts.
No, but I thought 22 was the record. No?
Yeah, he finished with 22 shutouts that year, which is still the record, but this date.
On this date,
20.
okay.
Yeah, but his 0.92 goals against average was also a record, and he retired with 94 shutouts, which is third most in the history of the National Hockey League.
In an era where you were not allowed to go down. Like if you dropped to your knees as a goaltender.
That was a penalty.
How many penalties would there be now?
Here are the Leafs in the center ice area. Left wing feed for McMahon. He overskated the puck, and it'll be brought out by Trevor Zegras to center. Zegras gets across the line into the corner. Tried to get it back out in front against Jake McCabe, who took it away from him. And now here's Oliver Ekman-Larsson just flipping it out at center for Bobby McMahon, who punches it off the glass and into the zone, and Nylander will chase it down in the far corner. Plays it back for McMahon behind the net. It goes into the near corner to Matthews. Matthews, too well covered. McMahon plays to the left wing corner. Riley pinches to keep it alive into the area in the corner, and the boards. It comes off a skate, and the Flyers now playing it up on the wing, and Nylander is there hoping to create a problem, and it is intercepted and lifted into the Toronto zone. Leafs are changing. Riley has gone back at the net, but he's chased out. Got it ahead for Tavares. Tavares mishandles the puck and has to go back into his own zone to restore it. Played out at center, and Tavares with speed coming across the line to Domi on the right wing. A pass in front of the net for Nyes, but it was about waist high, and he couldn't knock it down. Domi back of the net now, into the corner for Tavares. Centering pass, Nyes whipped it wide. Good setup there, and Nyes misfires on the net. Tavares back of the goal. Hauled down, got it in front of the net. No penalty. Shot from the point was blocked before it reached the goal off Meyer's stick, but good pressure again by the Leafs. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, a shot. Pad save made by Vladar. Flyers have launched it out and down the ice, and an icing call is going to come here in time for us to tell you that the second period is brought to you by Youngblood, is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. From Academy Award nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood, only in theaters starting March the 6th.
You were in the original?
I starred in the original, Mr. Ralph. Yep. I had a major role in that memorable movie. Shot by Nylander, deflects wide of the Leaf goal. And if you believe that.
But you are. I mean, you are in it.
Yeah. No, the best part for me is the credits. I can't find myself in the movie, but the credits I go by. So I'm in it somewhere. Bouncing into the far corner for Nylander. Trying to play it free for McMahon, but that didn't work. And now the Flyers start out of the Philadelphia zone, and they play it down into the Toronto end. Bouncing puck comes to center, shot back into the Leaf zone. Oliver Ekman-Larsson with 4 minutes and 25 seconds to go in the period. Finds Nick Roy, and he carries in on the right side. Slides down the boards to get it into the corner. Around back of the net is Andre. Emile Andre having difficulties there with Joshua. Dakota Joshua has the Leaf goal, and the Flyers are able to intercept and now play it down into the Toronto end. Jake McCabe around back of the net for Benoit. Benoit along the boards trying to poke it up the wall to find the centerman, but Roy never did get to the puck. And now a pass ahead from McCabe, gets it to Roy, who will bounce it into the zone, and a wholesale change for the Maple Leafs coming with the puck in the Flyer end. Out at center, and then shot right back in again by Morgan Riley. Travis Sandheim for Philadelphia. Got it ahead at center. Almost, I think, the anniversary of the game in Philadelphia.
Ty Domi?
Yes, I think it's very close. Harry Neal had the great line. Watch the lawsuit, Ty. Watch the lawsuit.
Yeah.
He was so much better at color than some of the other people I've worked with.
Wow. Been around a long time. Experienced a little bit of everything, right?
Yeah, some of them are just like goalies. But Harry was a coach and a manager, Memorial Cup player, champion.
He was a Memorial Cup champion.
I know that. Puck in the center ice area. Leafs get it across the line for Nyes. He's going to shoot it in around back of the net.
I thought Harry was the best, too.
Centering pass. Nyes couldn't get a stick on it. He gets it in the corner. Leafs have had a lot more zone time in this second period than they enjoyed in the first. Puck into the slot area for Domi. He can't reach it, and it's cleared by Philadelphia back into the Toronto end.
I think even with the pressure, I'm not saying anything has been missed, that they would have drawn a penalty at least, the way this period has gone.
What a silly comment for you to make. That's just silly.
Would you not think they should have?
No, they only have 140 for the year. Why would you give them a power play?
I'm not saying. lot of games you would say they didn't deserve anymore. This would be one. And like I said, I don't think there's been some egregious.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good word.
Andrew?
Look it up.
And no, we don't know how to spell it.
Does it start with an E or an A? Leafs get it down into the Flyer zone. Nye's trying to poke it back of the net, but Philadelphia's gotten under it and got it out at center ice, and it'll roll down into the Toronto end. Carlo, back of the goal for Riley, played up on the left wing side, but it didn't reach Bobby McMahon. Flyers get it back in a shot. That was blocked. It actually broke the stick of Matthews. No, bank pass finds Matthews. He's in across the line, dropping for McMahon. Centering pass doesn't make the front of the net. And Vladar has stopped play with 1:13 to go here in period number 2, which has been a scoreless second period. And we're going to get one more commercial break in because we can. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Wherever Canadians raise a glass, you'll find Molson. There's a good reason for that. When you've been in Canada for over 230 years, you get around in the cups and fridges of Canadians, generation after generation. Molson has a beer for everyone. So raise a glass or cup or whatever you pour your Molson in, because it doesn't matter what it's in. It matters where it's from. Canadian, Export, Ultra, Excel, Molson. Everyone in. Must be legal drinking age.
From Academy Award-nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. When hockey prodigy Dean Youngblood is called up to join the Hamilton Mustangs, he must face off against aggressive behavior on and off the ice to fulfill his promise and take his shot at being drafted into the National Hockey League. Youngblood, starring Blair Underwood and Aston James. Only in theaters this Friday.
Hockey. It's taken over our basements, our driveways, and our backyards. And at Rona, we wouldn't change a thing. That's why we make sure your home can take any hits hockey throws its way, so hockey can keep taking over your laundry rooms, your living rooms, your garages, your kitchens. Make sure your home is ready for hockey season with Rona. Build it right, build it Rona.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
So you think you're having a bad year? Well, the Sarnia Legionnaires have got 3 games left in their regular season. They are trying not to go 0-50. They are 0-47. 0-0. It has been a long year in the Greater Ontario Junior Hockey B League.
And somebody will do a movie on it.
Yes.
Here.
Yep. Puck in the Flyer zone. Riley sends it down into the corner. McMahon poked it along the boards, knocked up on the wing, and the Flyers get it to center and down into the Toronto zone. Less than a minute to go in a scoreless second period. McMahon got to center and got it into the offensive zone. Erasmus Rustalainen playing it back into his defense partner. Sandheim got it ahead, and it's cleared down into the Toronto end. Half minute to go in the period. Benoit and McCabe exchanging the puck. Swinging down in the defensive zone is Roy. McCabe comes to center with a pass up on the wing that didn't reach its intended receiver. Zegras couldn't get it into the Leaf zone. They'll get it back to the Philadelphia blue line. 5 seconds left as the Flyers get in over the line. Trying to make a move in front was Tippett, but it was knocked back into the corner, and that ends the period. Although we get some shoving going on in the corner down to our left. Doesn't look like anything else is going to materialize. And so there is no scoring in the second period of play, but shots on goal for the second period brought to you by Popeyes. Score a Popeyes chicken sandwich for only $6. And classic or spicy, make it your new game day tradition. Get your $6 chicken sandwich at Popeyes near you.
Yeah, the Leafs are able to equal the Flyers in shots on goal in the game. 11-5, the Leafs outshoot Philadelphia in the second period, but I would say that the Leafs' better scoring chances were not shots on goal, and most notably Matias Michelli with a great opportunity in the hash marks wide open in front of Dan Vladar, but missed the net glove side. But overall, Leafs territorially, Leafs shots on goal were the better team in the second.
We'll ship it off to Ailish Forfar and Justin Cuthbert for our second period intermission. The Leafs won and the Flyers won. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7 delivers access to wrestling's elite.
Drew McIntyre, it's hard for me to hear you get booze when you do nothing but speak the truth. Can't touch me in the ring because I'm too big. Can't touch me in the mic because I'm too good because I don't lie. CM Punk is here.
I remember when I signed my WWE contract, I got called a sellout.
When I said that, I didn't think you were going to have the career that you were going to have.
The pulse of the squared circle is on Pro Wrestling Nation 24/7.
24/7, it's quite incredible.
Channel 156.
NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative. Well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app. The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Mick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
The hockey talk never stops on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
Bedard and Celebrini, they've been this good this quickly. This has set us up for the next 20 years.
Our lineup of former players and team executives give you an inside look at what happens on the ice and in the front office.
The season being so condensed, any small little off-ice issue turns into a tsunami.
Plus, you'll hear the biggest matchups every night. To McDavid, it's all on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Hey, Jim Rome here. What's cracking?
Hi.
Hope you're enjoying the game. And when you're not taking in a game, find us on Sirius Channel 161, XM Channel 206. In fact, we'll be there every weekday afternoon, 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. If you've got something you want to break down from this game, you know where to find us. Just make sure you have it taken. Don't suck. That has never changed. In fact, this show has never changed. We're just back home. And it's great to be there. Sirius 161, XM 206. See you there.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A five-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
And the LEAFS Radio Network.
Welcome back to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. It is still 1-1 after 40 minutes between the Leafs and the Flyers. at Scotiabank Arena. It is the final week before the trade deadline. Leafs have 2 more games before Friday's 3 p.m. deadline, and both those games will be against the only 2 teams below them in the Eastern Conference, the Devils and the Rangers. How different a week that could have been if you were looking to add and you had 2 nice layup games, I'm using air quotes.
Bank 4 points and just...
You'd be feeling good.
Yeah, you would be feeling good. This is going to sound like really negative, but I don't really want it to be.
Okay.
Because I think it is like somewhat positive. But is that as good as it's going to look the rest of the year? Because they're going to sell, right? They're likely to sell off assets a little bit. 1-1 right now. The shots are pretty even. It's a competitive hockey game. I feel like competitive, it's not like overly entertaining, but it's not overly drab. Like, is that what you're hoping for as a Leaf fan? Because we talked about it a little bit with Sam McKee before the game. Do you want them to be banking points? Do you want them to give the Bruins the worst possible first-round pick? Or do you want them to be in contention for their own first-round pick to use it this year? I just feel like competitive losses would be great. I think you'd sign up right now, at least I would, for competitive losses. They haven't lost this game, but it's sort of competitive. You can't pull yourself away from a bottom 10 team in the NHL. I feel like this is like going to be one of the...
Wow.
This could be a B+ effort for the rest of the way.
That's
I didn't mean it. Wasn't supposed to be a negative because they played pretty well.
No, I know what you're saying.
They're actually playing the game tonight, which is refreshing considering the last 3.
And you know what? We could have asked for this effort multiple times since return from the Olympic break. There are 3 games in a row of poor efforts. A couple periods sprinkled in maybe where we felt like there was a good effort there, but it just hasn't been... It hasn't been a fun watch, and I guess you're right. Like, this has been a pretty fine game against the Flyers, but it will most likely get a little bit harder to see a Leafs team controlling the play if you're going to sell off. Let's say you lose 4 or 5 players at the deadline. Well, then you're going to have to fill those in with either different new faces, or you're going to bring
you
in some
may play better
Marlies.
there because those players are going to be.
True.
Oh, this is my one chance.
Like, I think if you sold 4 or 5 players, and then you brought in 2 or 3 Marlies or, new young faces, there'd probably be a little boost of excitement and for us probably covering it like, oh, here's some new guys. Like, what's the future look like? Is Quillen going to make a jump? Like, there's probably going to be a stretch where it's almost like, hey, I made it through the deadline for the guys that are still here. I'm happy about that. I'm going to play hard. And those new faces, well, let me prove that I want to be a Maple Leaf and maybe stay here. This is a great market. Maybe I'm a local guy. Maybe it's a team I want to play for and be a part of their rebuild. Like, there'll probably be a stretch of good hockey. And so maybe we see that. But in terms of this current iteration of the roster over the next 2 games in 1 period, yeah, this is probably what we're expecting.
Yeah, I think, to your point, I don't know how many players are going to end up coming up. We don't know what it's going to look like. They're still sitting 2 viable players tonight. So, it runs reasonably deep. Calle Yarncroke could be playing. They do have 14 forwards, right? Right now, 14 healthy forwards are options for Craig Berube. So you have to take out 3 to really make space for 1. I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case at the end of the day here. So maybe it won't be this full overhaul. But I do think we're going to see some change. We'll see some opportunity. I think we'll see good performances from those guys because, again, it's their one chance. This is probably, though, the toughest stretch of hockey that Austin Matthews and William Nylander are going to have to play. Because the only non-competitive hockey that they played was early on where they're still trying to make their way and learn the NHL ropes and get acclimated to Mike Babcock's system. And, it was, for at least Austin Matthews, it was like reasonably successful immediately. And they've played, 98% of the time competitive, meaningful hockey games. The least meaningful have been the ones where it's like end of season, you're already second in the Atlantic Division, you already know who you're playing.
Yep.
So I think going through the motions here is going to be difficult for these guys who have not been in a situation like this in a very long time, if at all. And I think tonight, playing together, maybe that's the easiest way to get them in a position where it's not like completely read through shift after shift. I think playing together might be the only option to keep them engaged.
Yeah, I was curious about watching Austin Matthews throughout this. Like, there's a lot of heat on him. There's a lot of questions about his leadership skills and if he's the right guy, if he wants to be in this market. Like, there's so many. Type in his name online and you could read for days. But his last goal as a Maple Leaf was January 27th against Buffalo. So he's currently in his 8th game without a goal. And not that I expect him to be the only guy like shot out of a cannon and controlling this team, but like I do also want to see that you are able to pull away from the Philadelphia Flyers and put one in the net and, you know, still be a Hart Trophy winner. Like, you can still show flashes of that. So I think putting him with Willie, I mean, it kind of holds them both accountable. You can't be like a deficit that line. I think the best line so far has been the Waugh, Michelli, and Joshua line, because I noticed them when they're out there and they're making impacts and they got the goal, but they're forechecking hard. Like, they're controlling some of the play. I guess if I'm looking for what I want to see down the next 5-6 games is, I know that this team isn't going to go win a Stanley Cup this year, but I want to at least know that my captain or my leadership team has an extra gear. But I do understand, as someone, we've played in sports before, it's hard to be motivated sometimes too.
Yeah, I think that's going to be something that they're going to really battle here. For the
but if you're a good leader, you find a way
weeks.
to like, hey guys, we can't just, you know, show up and get our paycheck. Like, let's play.
Yeah, I suppose so. It might be the biggest
It's
challenge
easier said
of his captaincy would be this,
For sure.
right? Because it is tough. Like, you've been in these positions, and I think you have to at least tell yourself to get there sometimes. And if you're just telling yourself that every other night with this busy schedule, I think it'll be a little grinding for them.
For sure. Easier said than done. But still a couple games until the trade deadline and against two of the last teams in the Eastern Conference that she should beat. So we'll see how those go. We'll take a quick break. We'll get to the out-of-town scoreboard. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
From Academy Award-nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. When hockey prodigy Dean Youngblood is called up to join the Hamilton Mustangs, he must face off against aggressive behavior on and off the ice to fulfill his promise and take his shot at being drafted into the National Hockey League. Youngblood, starring Blair Underwood and Aston James. Only in theaters this Friday.
With the NHL app, you can listen to every NHL game right from your phone. And with home and away broadcast feeds, you choose your way to listen. Whether you're at work, at the gym, or stuck in traffic, the NHL app puts you right in the action all season long. Every team, every game, everywhere you go. Download the NHL app and never miss a moment.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid, no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout. Just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365. An official betting partner of the NHL. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
The legendary Yeti, born to handle ice, snow, and the harshest conditions imaginable.
Hey, that's like a Subaru with all-wheel drive.
The mighty Yeti uses its impressive strength to navigate any terrain.
Like the X mode in a Subaru.
No one knows exactly what they do out there.
Usually snowboarding, sometimes skating if I find a pair that fits. Legendary winters await, so hurry into your local Subaru dealer for lease and finance rates as low as 0.5%. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Subaru. Uncommon comes standard.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses. With customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
It's cold out there, folks. Minus 35. Fill up if you're going out today. And
leave the winter blues behind when you give and get away at Canadian Blood Services. Escape to a donor center this winter and leave feeling a little lighter, brighter, and better. And when you book an attended blood or plasma appointment, you have a chance to win round-trip tickets for two, courtesy of Air Canada Foundation. No donation required. Give and get away this winter. Book at blood.ca/getaway and experience what you get when you give. Conditions apply. See full draw rules for details.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
The backhand scores! Steven Lorentz!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
Welcome back to Most Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network. The out-of-town scoreboard is presented by Bet365. Download the app and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365.
Rangers are making it interesting on Broadway. They've scored a couple late goals here. 4-3 Blue Jackets lead the Rangers. Blue Jackets had a 4-0 lead in the game. One other game is final. Red Wings this afternoon beating the Nashville Predators 4-2. 3 other games tonight, but they're yet to get underway. Stars and Canucks from Vancouver, Hurricanes and Kraken from Seattle, and the Los Angeles Kings, fresh off firing their head coach, Jim Hiller, get to host the Colorado Avalanche.
Okay, well, we just talked about it briefly off the air, but Armin, our producer, said that it's like very, very quiet at Scotiabank Arena. Lots of very quiet nights in his time being down there, but he said maybe the quietest it's been since he's been there for 4 years.
Direct quote of our producer.
Well, why did he put it in the doc if you didn't want me to read it?
I don't know.
I'm just saying. Maybe my spin
are sensitive about the volume.
I was just saying my spin is if you win this game, you get a goal, you get something to cheer about here. It's only 1-1.
It's right there for the taking tonight.
It sure is. And we have 20 minutes left with Joe Bowen and Jim Ralph. We'll have the call of the third period next. You're listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
MLB Network Radio on Sirius XM gets you ready for opening day with a tour of spring training.
The amount of young talent is phenomenal.
Hear interviews with all-stars.
This is Mookie Betts.
I'm Aaron Judge.
And insight and analysis of all 30 clubs.
There's nothing wrong with having teams at the top of the sport that you're trying to take down.
Talk baseball with our experts on Channel 89 in the car. And listen to your favorite team's spring training show anytime on the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative. Well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A 5-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The NHL trade deadline on Sirius XM NHL Network Radio.
He scores!
Who's buying?
Any trade for a frontline player has to start with a first-round pick.
Who's selling?
If they don't get any more scoring, specifically up front, they're not winning the Stanley Cup.
And who got a little closer to hoisting Lord Stanley's Cup?
Look at this place. They've gone bananas.
Get live instant reaction to every trade as they happen all this week on NHL Network Radio, Channel 91 in the car, and on the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs Radio Network.
We head to the third period with the game tied 1-1. Dakota Joshua from Michelli at 16:20 of the first period. Dvorak from Cates and Barkey at 18:38 of the first. And that is all the scoring we've had as the third period is underway. Leafs to the right and the Flyers to the left. Shot into the Philadelphia zone and into the far corner it goes. Ristolainen starting out of his own zone. Gets it up to his defense partner at center, and Sandheim sends it into the Toronto end. Puck along the boards, kept in at the point. Far corner, centering pass, knocked away, and the Leafs trying to chip it out ahead, and Nylander, partial breakaway, right-hand side, and a goal! And there's going to be a penalty here to Philadelphia.
To see, I don't think it'll be a penalty shot as Nylander was trying to cut in front of the defenseman. But what makes this play, Joe, is the anticipation. And you can see up here, as soon as the puck was turned over inside the Leaf line, Willie Nylander took off. Holding is going to be the call. But that's the key. I mean, he's got the explosive breakaway speed. But it's the anticipation. As soon as the puck's turned over, he's gone.
11 breakaways this year. And he has a skill at it. Here's Riley off a face-off win with a shot blockered away by Vladar. And 3 Flyers breaking it out at center. Nyes trying to get back to even up the numbers, and the wrist shot went well wide of the Leaf goal anyway. Riley back of the Toronto net. Starting out, Nylander slowly coming out from behind the goal, takes the drop pass. Gathers some speed through neutral ice, finds Tavares in on the left wing. Tavares trying to play it back. It goes into the slot area. Nyes gave the puck away. He had a chance to turn and go to the forehand, and his backhand effort went well wide.
Was he trying to maybe dish it off to somebody?
I
Didn't
hope
seem
so.
to be any in the area.
No. Tavares plays it back for Matthews. Up ahead for Nylander. Couple of moves to gain Tavares on the left wing. And again, Tavares, a couple of feet inside the blue line, makes a bad decision and turns the puck over, and the Leafs end up having to go back into their own end. Second unit coming over the boards. Drop back now for Michelli. Onto the right wing side for Cowan. He misfires. Shot down the ice again by Philadelphia. 36 seconds left in the power play, and it hasn't been much. Now a turnover in the Leaf zone and a shot off the goal post. Noah Cates gets a monstrous turnover and then rattled it off the far iron wide of the goal. Brought out now by Michelli. Up on the right side for Cowan. Cowan into the far corner. Trying to play it back along the boards. That was cut off. Michelli got it freed up. It comes back to the blue line. D to Domi. Domi into the slot. Final second ticking down. And out of the penalty box comes Ristolainen, and the Leafs are 0 for 2 in the power play.
Boy, and some are uglier than others. That was just another one, but the Leafs did not get any puck possession time in the offensive zone.
Nylander knocking it down into the offensive zone. Flyers get there first. Can't get it up on the wall with any degree of accuracy. Now Nylander out there along with Roy and Joshua. Back of the net. Willie trying to come out of the corner with it. Still has it. Makes a nifty move to get it up on the wing, but then couldn't keep it in as it comes to center ice, and it is shot down into the Toronto zone. Played by Stolarz back of the net. And now Benoit turns in his own zone with a feed off a stick into the offensive zone it goes. Vladar playing it into the corner. And now Ristolainen dropping it back onto the left wing side, and Sandheim gets it ahead at center, and the Flyers will send a long shoot in wide of the net. On the wing, a shot by Ristolainen off the chest of Stolarz. Leafs 1 and the Flyers 1. Puck pinned up against the boards in the Toronto zone. Near corner, comes back to the blue line. Walking the line, and a drive in traffic. Hit the goalpost, and then somehow ends up underneath Stolarz. Boy, that might have dented the goalpost. That, you could hear that way up here. How did Stolarz end up with it?
Perfect. I think it came right back, rested on his leg. One of the Flyers was skating around with his arms in the air to try to signal. Yeah, this one off the post and right back underneath him.
Yep.
And somebody had might have been Steven Lorenz that said,
"Don't move.
Freeze." Because Stolarz was looking around. I think Stolarz thought it was in. But Lorenz was saying freeze, because that's when you can move and all of a sudden
it does pop free. Yep.
Kick back into your own net.
Played up on the left wing. The Leafs will launch it into the Flyer zone. So Maple Leafs have dodged a couple of bullets here to start this third period. And the Flyers are going to launch it again into the Toronto zone. Poke back for Nyes. Nyes up on the wing. It goes to Lorenz. He sends it into the offensive zone. Lorenz forcing the puck wide. Takes his man out, but the puck comes to center. And it is played down into the Toronto end. Play it around the boards. This is going to come all the way out and down the ice. And an icing call will come against the Maple Leafs with 15:12 to play here in the third period.
The Philadelphia Flyers, they've missed 5 straight, missed the postseason, 9 of the last 13, so they've always sort of been in a soft rebuild. One thing that's hurt them is in their history, only 3 times have they drafted in the top 3. Mel Bridgman in 1975 was first overall. James Van Riemsdyk in 07 was second overall. And we'll get to the third one, Nolan Patrick. Second overall in the 2017 draft. So that's difficult when you don't luck out.
No. Well, the biggest move they made was the Forsberg Lindros. And I'm not really sure that worked out as well as they had hoped it would too.
Ended up working out pretty good with Quebec for the Nordiques.
Yes.
Yeah, but became the Avalanche to win a cup.
Ristolainen starts out of his own zone, off a stick and into the Toronto end. Stolarz swinging it around the boards to the far side for Michelli. He is in a fight there, but is able to get the puck free, and it is poked out at center by Joshua. Now Michelli trying to get it back along the boards, lost it, shot back in. Out of the net, Stolarz to stop it. Punches it up on the wing. Not out. Long shot. Blockered away. And the rebound's going to come all the way to center ice. 19 shots for the Maple Leafs. 20 for Philadelphia. And we're in a 1-1 tie here in the third. Brought on by Roy. Nick Roy into the corner for Toronto and around back of the net he goes, only to have it stripped away. And the Flyers will counter and bring it out with a pass that got away from everyone and has slid wide of the goal, and a rather beneficial icing call, I thought, here by the linesman. Will bring it all the way back into Philadelphia territory.
Certainly looked like the Flyers might have had the edge going in. I believe it was Owen Tippett. It seemed to have a step on Philip Myers. Tie definitely goes to the defenseman. Eh?
Yes,
a lot of
it
these
does.
calls.
Yeah, it really does seem that way, yep. And a lot of that is because
Safety.
the defenseman used to get pasted, right? And there were some nasty injuries because of that. Flyers bringing the puck out at center and backhanded into the Toronto end. Riley gets there first for Toronto to get it up on the wing for Nyes. Now ahead for Domi, off his stick into the zone. Domi after it, but can't get it away there from Ristolainen, and the Flyers bring it back into the Toronto end, but a pass deflects out at center ice. Tavares chipping it ahead. Domi in on the left wing with a shot. And again, Dan Vladar seemed to fight that off with the glove, and it ends up going up into the screen.
I don't think that went off the defenseman's stick. And Domi let it go. The Leafs are 2-0 in the season against Philadelphia, trying to go 3-0 here, tied 1-1 in the third.
You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Don't miss MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training.
This is what I love.
Great to have spring training finally be here.
Tune in as we visit with all 30 teams across Arizona and Florida.
If this team is healthy, they're a really good team.
This kid can hit. He works the count as good as anybody.
Hear from the star players, managers, and front office executives.
Joey's really changed the landscape.
MLB Network Radio's tour of spring training all week long on Sirius XM Channel 89 and the Sirius XM app.
NHL Morning Skate.
This whole notion, this whole narrative. Well, once again, Connor McDavid can't close the deal. Did we just forget that he scored the game-winning goal in the Four Nations? Let's also not forget that he set an Olympic record for most points by an NHLer at the Olympics. That's the reason he won the tournament MVP in the end. This whole thing like Connor McDavid can't close the deal, very, very weak.
NHL Morning Skate. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern with Gord Stellick and Scott Laughlin. NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Feel the pulse-pounding drama of the UEFA Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC. The stakes are raised as Europe's elite.
Real Madrid do what they do best. A five-star show from Manchester City. What a start for Inter.
Battle in a quest for club soccer's ultimate prize.
This is the place where dreams come true.
This is where legends are made. The Champions League knockout stage on Sirius XM FC 157 and the Sirius XM app.
The best hockey lives here.
Burns gets it back. Stick handles to the backhand. Moves in front. Score!
NHL Play-by-Play on Sirius XM
and the LEAFS Radio Network.
Face off in the Flyers zone to the right of Dan Vladar. A 1-1 tie. Joshua and Dvorak scoring the goals in the first period. Bobby McMahon playing in his 200th NHL game. And the draw wasn't done correctly. They'll try it again. Matthews scrummed the draw and his skates. Played back to the point. McMahon on the left wing side got a shot away that was off the mark wide. Oliver Ekman-Larsson back of the net for Nylander to the left wing corner for McMahon. Double teamed over there by the Flyers. That's drawn a crowd up against the wall, and it's poked free. Ristolainen got away from Nylander, and it's played out into the center ice area, and the Leafs have to go back for it. Here's Morgan Rielly getting it ahead for Nylander. He circles back, played it ahead for Matthews. Matthews turning in his own zone. Up on the left wing for McMahon. Long shoot in, well wide of the goal. Down into the corner. Nylander couldn't get to it. Flyers counterattack, get to the red line and just dump it in. Both teams getting a change going. We're 8 minutes into the third period. Looking for the tiebreaker in a 1-1 tie. McCabe gets some assistance to get it ahead to Lorenz. Played off the boards then, and a turnover as Cowan couldn't get it out over the line. Brought back in by Owen Tippett to the blue line for York. Down on the right wing side, Drysdale. Centering pass in the goal crease area, knocked away. And the Leafs are going to get it out at the line, and Lawton will then bring it back into his own zone again. Rink-wide pass finds Lorenz. Across the line with Cowan. Cowan's going to the bench now as it goes down into the far corner. Lorenz won't get there, and the Leafs have it back at their own blue line after it's shot out by Philadelphia. Up ahead for Michelli. Played in, he got around a check, tried to center, had his stick lifted, and able to just keep it in. A pass into the left wing corner now for Roy. Nick Roy trying to play it back to himself along the boards, but the Flyers get it out. And a lead pass at center. And Mitchkov was trying to break in there, but couldn't handle the pass. Played back out at center ice for Michelli. On the right wing side for Roy. Stepping wide into the far corner. Run to the boards heavily, and both players to the ice as a result. And it's back out at center and down into the Toronto end. Morgan Rielly sweeps around one man. Played it off the skate to center, and now Roy will get to the red line and then regroup the puck because they're going to get a change of their forward complement. Rielly in his own zone. A pass ahead off Tavares into the offensive end. Nyes couldn't come up with it initially, then did, and a centering pass for Domi was cut off. Max gets it deeper into the corner. Now Tavares working on the wall, had it knocked away, and he was knocked down, and the Flyers get it out at center ice. couple of Flyers collide with one another, and the Leafs take advantage, getting it back in over the line. And now Philadelphia under control with it, bringing it out on the right wing. Shot into the Toronto zone by Delorier. Leafs counter and brought back by Domi. With speed down the right wing, stops just in over the blue line. Got a shot away, but it went off a leg and went wide. Pinching in was Jake McCabe to get it into the corner. Philadelphia come away with it, though, and they get it out on the right wing. Brought in over the line by Barkey. Into the slot area, knocked away by Benoit. Looking for Barkey back of the net. Couturier trying to find a loose man. Still free to the near corner. Trying to work in is Gorbenkin. He is too well covered, and it comes off the glass, and the Leafs will get it out into the center ice area. Flyers go back, chased by Nylander back behind the goal line, but they'll get it up on the left wing. And now stopping up with it is Travis Sandheim to stretch things out as the Flyers get their change going. An alley-oop pass knocked in over the Leaf blue line. Brought back by Matthews to Willie. Nylander goes rink wide. Myers in on the right side, going wide. Round back of the net. Comes out on the near wing with a pass to the right wing side. It'll find Nylander to Matthews back of the goal. Matthews still with it. A bank pass to the blue line. Pass to the near side. Myers got a good shot away, but it went off his shin pad and went wide. Flyers get it out at center. One-on-one rush. Myers tripped and fell, but Zegras couldn't do much with it. It's kept in, though, by Philadelphia. Left wing side. Down into the corner, Noah Cates. Cates stops, sends it back into the corner, back of the net. Myers will get there first, and he gets it up on the wing, and the Leafs get it free and out at center ice. Changes again for both teams. Under 8 minutes to play, third period. 1-1 is our score. Round on the boards for Michelli. He'll get it handed back to him. He'll play it to the defense. Launched in over the line by the Leafs' Brandon Carlo. Down the boards, it'll come up on the wing. The Flyers are able to break it out. Right wing side for Brink. Bobby Brink with a shot. Deflected by Riley. Stick well wide of the goal. Brink in back of the net. Having difficulties there with a couple of Leafs, but it comes free. Brink trying to come back out. Poked off his stick by Riley. Near side and a shot in traffic. Blocked. Leafs are going to get it out. And it'll roll down into Philadelphia territory, and Toronto gets a needed change. Flyers send it back into the Leaf end. Stolarz back along the boards for Lawton. Up ahead for Cowan. Cowan stutters and then makes a pass up on an open right wing that the Leafs will get to play it to the line and in. Here's Lawton playing it around back of the net, but the Flyers are there, and it is Ristolainen turning in the near corner. Rasmus Ristolainen sends it down into the Toronto end, but no one can get there, and it's around the boards and back out at center ice.
Well, Philly had the edge in the first period. The Leafs had the edge in the second period, and this has been quite simply a horrible third period. Shots are 2 apiece with about 6 minutes to go here in the third.
Here's Tippett coming through neutral ice and in with a weak wrist shot that is going to be swallowed up by Anthony Stolarz with 6:12 to play here in the third period. The Leafs won and the Flyers won. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Bet365 is paying out before the final buzzer.
Check out Bet365's early payout for NHL hockey. When you bet on a team to win and they take a 3-goal lead, you get paid, no matter the final score. And with early payout, you could be on your way to a winning parlay.
Early payout. Just another reason why it's never ordinary at Bet365. An official betting partner of the NHL. Must be 19 or older, Ontario only. Please play responsibly. If you or someone you know has concerns about gambling, visit connexontario.ca. T&Cs apply.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need, when you need it, 24/7, 365, every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Hey everyone, Adney and Verk here to talk about our great podcast, NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers.
Jason Demers here. After playing 700 NHL games, it turns out I have an opinion or two. Whoever's saying trade one of them, you don't know anything about hockey. I'm on the bandwagon. I'm rooting for this team. With new guests every week, we will talk about hockey and more.
Can't wait till you watch the movie because it's the biggest award of her career.
He went into the cheetah exhibit, and the cheetah took a piece out of him, and he came into the ring the next day.
Tune in to NHL Unscripted with Verk and Demers, the iHeartRadio app, or wherever you get your podcasts.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
They score! One-timer! Austin Matthews!
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network.
1-1 tie, and the third period is brought to you by Rona. When your basement boards are more scuffed up than your local rinks, Rona's got what you need to build it back right. Visit Rona.ca for more details. Build it right, build it, Rona. See, the Lions Club Arena is not going to be demolished out in Tobico, I guess, is the neighborhood out there, the old Lions Club Arena. Scheduled to be knocked down, but now the local citizenry have fought for it, including Eric Lindros, who grew up in that area, and a long shot is swallowed up by Anthony Stolars. I know he was rather vocal about it. It'd be like them taking down Crosby Arena in Unionville.
That was a bad rumor, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, one person fought for it. Who are you going to believe? Me
or the mayor?
The mayor?
The mayor. Scarpetti was great at your roast.
Oh, yeah, he was terrific. I scared him to death, though, telling him you can't be taking down Crosby.
His question was, who said we were taking him down?
Leafs get the puck out into the center ice area. Flyers play it back. 5 minutes and 46 seconds to play in the third period, and the game is tied 1-1. Matthews dropping, and now McMahon. Ooh, he got a pretty good hit there by Ristolainen as he sent it into the offensive zone. Flyers back, Ristolainen to the line and in on the right side. Gets a weak shot away. That was stopped, and there was a juicy rebound that Stolars couldn't get his glove on, but the Flyers sent it wide. Now they center, and a shot scores! Noah Cates gives the Flyers a 2-1 lead with 5:18 to play in this third period.
And really, it kind of starts with Anthony Stolars having trouble controlling the puck. Morgan Riley then runs into him. The puck goes to the corner. And as quickly, I think Michkov was the one that threw it back out in front onto the stick of Cates and just snaps the perfect shot short side over the right shoulder of Anthony Stolars under the crossbar. A saucer pass from the corner, and the perfect shot has given the Flyers their second lead of the game.
12th goal of the season for Cates. Played down into the Philadelphia zone.
Pardon me, first lead of the game. Dakota Joshua opened the scoring for the Leafs.
It's been so long, I can understand how you probably couldn't remember. Laid out at center ice now by Philadelphia. Cates gets it into the Toronto end, off the stick of Stolars into the corner. Flyers onto it quickly there. Poked up on the wing, and it is played off by Tavares, and Nyes gets across center ice and dumps it into the Flyer zone. Hustling in there after it, but the Flyers are going to get it out and into center ice, and Myers has to skate back into his own zone. A bank pass ahead finds Nyes. He drops it back for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. On to Tavares, or excuse me, to...
That was a delayed
Joshua.
call.
Yeah, and there's going to be a penalty here.
That was almost like the crowd called that one because Joshua went down. The official that made the call. It's about 15 feet away, and it took a while for that arm to get up.
This will even the penalty opportunities on the power play for both teams now with 3. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Mad Dog Russo. Hear the passion.
Be aggressive. Get something done.
Hear the knowledge.
The game, folks, is about 2 plays. And that's what it comes down to.
Hear the personality.
I'm going to start here in an angry mood.
Get somebody on the radio that has made him a sports talk legend.
Does that make any sense to you? Drives you crazy.
It's Mad Dog Unleashed with Christopher Russo. Weekdays 3 p.m. Eastern on Mad Dog Sports Radio, Channel 82, or anytime on the Sirius XM app.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias.
New general manager of the Buffalo Sabres, Jarmo Kekalainen.
Did you expect it was going to happen, so quickly where you're in the race?
We started winning games, and that happened already before I took over. The confidence started growing, and the game becomes easy, and all of a sudden you believe in yourself, and you believe in the group, and the snowball starts rolling into the right direction.
The Power Play with Steve Koulias. Weekdays at 3 p.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Under review.
And stop making excuses for bad goaltending. And is it bad? Is it horrendous? If you don't win because you don't make a save or two, yeah. The nature of it is the goaltender is responsible for 90% of the action. He's got to stop the puck. Why do we keep making apologies for goaltending? Stop it.
Under review with Nick Kern. 11 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91, and the Sirius XM app.
Join me, Gord Stellick, and Scott Laughlin as we recap the night that was on NHL Morning Skate, weekday mornings at 7 a.m. Eastern on NHL Network Radio, Sirius XM 91.
Leafs Radio Network.
The Leafs Power Play, brought to you by Youngblood, is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. From Academy Award-nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood, only in theaters starting March 6th. Power Play for Toronto, down 2-1. Tavares to Matthews, coming out of the corner, and his shot went off a leg and went wide. Bouncing puck and played by Matthews to the blue line. Riley getting it back in. It goes high and around back of the net. Did that end up in the screen? It's whistled down anyway. It's going to be faced off in the circle to the left of Vladar.
Lastly, power play resulted in absolutely zero zone time or scoring chances.
Draw scrummed, poked back to the blue line. Riley, near side Nylander, cross ice pass was blocked. Shot down the ice by Philadelphia. Boy, they had a chance of maybe going a short-handed rush there, and they decided to ice the puck.
Yes, Sean Couturier actually, in blocking that pass, broke his stick.
Oh, maybe that's...
Yeah, so it was lucky.
Yeah. Played back in over the line by Nylander. Around the boards, it'll come to Tavares. Back into the corner for Nylander. Back to the blue line, just kept in by Riley. He finds Nyes on the far half wall. Into the corner goes Nyes, then back to the point to Riley. Near side, Willie, a one-timer. Glove saved by Vladar. That time, it stayed in the glove. It fought it off a couple of times.
And 101 to go here. It looks like Craig Rube is going to say, nope. Number 1 unit staying out. 3:24 to go here.
Draw to the right in the Flyer zone. Scrum, but the Leafs get it back to the blue line. Riley to the middle of the ice. On the wing to Nylander. Down low into the corner to Nyes. Center in front. Off a stick, but Riley's going to be able to keep it in. Nylander near half wall. Down low looking for Nyes. Gives it to him. Centering pass in front. Tavares got a quick shot away, but Vladar makes an excellent save. Riley will keep it in and punch it around the boards back of the net for Nyes. Off the wall it comes to the near side, and Nylander working down the boards. Nyes trying to help out. Nylander gets it back to the blue line. Riley. Far side Matthews. Matthews tries to center, had it blocked. Riley keeping it in. Good zone time here, but the Leafs haven't really produced a great scoring chance yet. Here's Matthews. Centering pass. Blocked and smothered. No, it's free. Vladar couldn't hold it. In front, Nyes to Willie. Scores!
looked like Dan Vladar had control of the puck, but it was poked away back below the goal line, funneled out front by Matthew Nyes to Tavares in the right wing circle, and he goes tape to tape. And Willie Nylander's one-timer beats Vladar's short side. And that's one thing that was hard to figure out why that hasn't worked more on this power play. You had Nylander, the right-handed shot on the left wing side with a one-timer. Matthews can do it on the other side.
But they don't.
And yet, I don't know how many goals did you say over the course of the season on the power play have been off those one-timers? And, you know, certainly like Leon Draisaitl has lived off that in his career. As you know, from further out, the likes of Ovechkin, Stamkos.
Pasternak.
Yeah, Pasternak's another one.
Fourth power play goal of the year for Nylander. He hits the 20-goal plateau with it as well. And a minute 53 left in the third period, and this game is now tied. Again, 2-2. Leafs with the puck back in their own zone. Kind of hoping for overtime and about a 30-round shootout because my train, I'm not getting on it till 11 o'clock. I got an hour to kill here.
I'll give you a ride.
I don't want to ride.
To the train station.
Thank you. Point shot, gloved by Vladar. And he's good. Hold on. Thanks, buddy. I really appreciate it. Maybe I'll get one of those carts, right? You can just push me in my Lugage. Oh, you can always count on you.
How many years later? Now, one of the things, and I don't know if we've talked about it much on the air, but your very first game, which I believe was, October 6th, 1982?
Yep.
Rondo Stadium, I was there.
Yes.
That was a healthy scratch by the Blackhawks. You did your first NHL game.
Yeah.
The next day, we both left Chicago.
I went to do another NHL game.
Yeah, and I went to the Central League.
Which was a nice league at that time. Nylander intercepts a pass in center ice on the wing for Matthews. Matthews to the line. That looked like it might have been offside. Nylander back in front. Vladar had it knocked away. Leafs keep the puck in, but now Philadelphia cuts it off back of the net, stolen by the Leafs. And it's going to be pushed out at center, so that offside that I thought might have been offside is negated. Less than a minute to go in regulation time. Carlo flipping it out. Flyers shoot it back in. Carlo has it again. Carlo flipping it high, down on goal, and Vladar will be forced to cover up with 32.1 seconds remaining in the third period.
Leafs have owned the face-off circle between these two clubs. 62% of the face-offs the Leafs have won. John Tavares has won 10 of 14 in his own. Scotty Lawton has won 6 of 8. Tavares is going to be out taking the draw here, and Matthews and Nylander are going to join him.
McCabe and Oliver Ekman-Larsson, the point men. Just Rick Tocchet is upset with the officials over on the far side. Not sure what this discussion is all about, but they're being allowed to make a change that they wanted to make a change about. Now McCabe is discussing it with the referee as well.
I would think on the officials there are certain guys like Craig Berube and Rick Tocchet
who may scare you,
even though
they aren't coming after me. But
I think Pat Quinn could be pretty intimidating behind the Leaf bench as well.
Well, you might get hit by that green gum that he used to throw.
How about the big mitts?
Yep. Oh boy, did he have big mitts. Flyers win the draw and they get it out and down into the Toronto end. McCabe playing it around back of the goal for Oliver Ekman-Larsson. Up on the wing it goes. Matthews was able to pry it free and skates back of his own goal. Now gets it up on the right side for Tavares. He gives the puck away. Couturier pinned to the boards by Tavares. 4 seconds left. And time is going to run out here. And we'll go to overtime.
Well,
2 goals in the first, 2 goals in the second. And it is 2-2 after 60 minutes of play. Back with the overtime. You're listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590, the Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
Heard of Uline? You know, the have-it-all in-stock, ready-to-deliver shipping and industrial supply specialists. The company that does things for you that are unheard of, like keeping 41,000 items in stock in our own warehouses, with customer service reps on the line to get you what you need when you need it 24/7, 365 every time. Maybe you heard it here first. Want to hear more? Visit uline.ca. ULINE, your shipping and industrial supply specialists.
Unifor Local 414 points out that March 8th is International Women's Day. This year's theme is Give to Gain, encouraging a mindset of generosity and collaboration and emphasizing the power of reciprocity and support, whether through donations, knowledge, resources, mentoring, or time. Contributing to women's advancement helps create a more supportive and interconnected world. Give support to gain advancement for women and girls. Find out more at internationalwomensday.com. Unifor Local 414, proud supporters of International Women's Day.
You're listening to Toronto Maple Leafs hockey.
Lorenz looking at the empty net as he gets to center. Drained it!
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan, and the Leafs Radio Network.
So we go to overtime. The Leafs and the Flyers are tied at 2.
Philly is coming off a win, or 2 games ago, an overtime win in New York against the Rangers, 3-2. That stopped an 8-game losing streak that they had in games that had gone to overtime. Overall, Philadelphia games that have ended in overtime are 3-8. The Leafs are 7-8. Philly has fared better in the shootouts, winning 5 of the 8 that have gone to the skills competition. The Leafs have only had 2 shootouts all year. They're 1-1.
Tavares, Matthews, McCabe going from left to right. And the puck is dropped, and we're into the overtime, and McCabe circles back. Tavares to the bench. Nylander comes over the boards. Matthews starting out of his own zone. Works to the left wing side and in on the left wing, trying to drive the net, drops it back into the slot for Nylander, closing, hands the puck back to Matthews. Matthews working back towards the blue line. Now takes it back out into the center ice area. Matthews back into his own zone. Gets it ahead for Nylander. Nylander with Riley now out there. Ahead it comes on the left wing for Matthews. Matthews in with a shot. Vladar with the save, and Matthews trying to tuck it in on the short side. Couldn't get it to go. Back comes Sandheim. Left wing side, dropping it back. Now here is a chance for Zegras. He doesn't shoot it. Zegras moves into the slot area, but now is going to take it back out into neutral ice and get a change going.
Willie Nylander's still out. Now a minute into overtime.
York starts back up ice on the left wing side. And around back of the net for Mitchkov. Mitchkov working back, had it knocked away. Leafs turning back in their own zone. Nylander staying out there. And the puck comes ahead. And Tavares starts away as he brings it to the line and in on the right wing. Stops up over the line. Off the bench now on the far side is Nice. He comes with the puck into the slot on his backhand, trying to work it in front of the net and had it knocked away. Flyers with it again. Mitchkov sending it back into his own zone. Looking for a long lead pass, but now is headed to the bench. Flyers back in their own zone with 3:17 to play in the overtime. Long lead pass off the stick of Nyes down into the Toronto zone. And Jake McCabe has it with Domi out with Nyes. Up ahead, McCabe. Right wing in over the line. Trying to stop it up. Left it there for Max. Domi works into the slot, then carries back out at center ice. He'll drop it off for McCabe. McCabe looking for Nyes. Got it ahead. Nyes couldn't drive the defenseman, though. Taken away from him by Cam York. The puck comes free, and Domi's going to get to it. Now trying to find an open man as it's wedged up against the boards. And Nyes sends it all the way back to his goaltender. And Stolars was going to try and play it up ahead, but had Riley step in front of it. Now Riley gets it on the wing. Here's Matthews across the line. dropping for Nylander, closing! And the shot went high and wide, and it caroms all the way out and down the ice. And way out of the goal comes Stolarz. There was a defenseman for Philadelphia, and he thought better of chasing after it. Nylander up ahead for Matthews. Right wing side driving in, a goal! Crashing into the net is Matthews. And Vladar is able to get a glove on it.
I think we're going to get a penalty out of this, but it looked like Matthews was chopped down pretty good drive into the net. It's one of those where you think, well, if it's not a penalty,
what is it?
On the Flyers, is it not a penalty on Matthews? Going right into the goaltender. Matthews looks shot, tries to fake to go around.
Yep.
But would you not agree? It's got to be one or the other. It's got to be goalie interference or a trip.
Somebody has called timeout here with 2:04 to play.
I'm going to guess that it was Craig Berube with a face-off in the Philadelphia zone.
And trying to get Nylander and Matthews a bit of a rest here before play resumes.
But Anthony Stolarz way out of the net. Another time he tries to rifle it all the way up the ice. Morgan Riley cut it off.
Yeah. So the face-off will be in the circle to the left of Vladar.
I mean, Nylander's had a decent chance. Flyers really haven't had a chance here in overtime, have they? Matthews off the wing, and then Nylander a couple of opportunities. Matthews tried to chop one in close earlier in the overtime. And what do we got here? Is that Tavares going to take the draw here?
Looks like.
Yep. With Matthews and Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
So Tavares will take the face-off against Sean Couturier, and the Flyers win the face-off, and Matthews to the bench, or at least Tavares to the bench, and Nylander on. Here's Philadelphia organizing in their own zone. Drop pass by Sean Couturier. Far side for Travis Sandheim. He hits the line in on the right side. Got a shot away, and it was blocked by Stolarz in a lead pass. Too far for Matthews. He is able to poke it down into the corner, trying to get positioning there on the defenseman, and neither he nor Nylander could come up with the loose puck. Minute and a half to go in overtime. Couturier coming through center ice. Changes for Philadelphia. In on the right side it goes. Turning back with it is Zegras. Pass knocked away. Nylander breaking with Matthews. Nylander in on goal. Stops it up. Plays it in front of the net, and it's deflected out at center ice, and that'll force the Leafs back as McCabe makes a good play to get it out at center. He'll get a return pass from Matthews. McCabe in over the line to drop for Nylander. Just maintained. Nylander steals, got it in front, and Vladar knocked that out of the way to get it out at center. And now back in over the Leaf line it comes. Played back along the boards for Tavares. Tavares down the right wing with Matthews. Tavares unable to get to the puck. He does. Matthews is alone. Oh, and it went off the shoulder of Vladar over top of the goal. 36 seconds left. 2-on-1 Philadelphia the other way. Shooting off the crossbar into the screen, out of play.
That took a while to open up. Matthews, I think, was dead tired, but John Tavares was able to make the play and get it to Matthews in the slot. He bats that out of midair to get it to Matthews, who is wide open, maybe just off the tip of the glove of Vladar. Out of play, 30 seconds to go here in overtime. Tavares will stay out with Max Domi and Oliver Ekman-Larsson.
Draw one by Philadelphia. Pass into the goal crease area was a little bit too far. One more rush. Domi comes down the right wing. He's into the zone. Domi with a little move to get it in front of the net, and the Flyers have poked it out. And out of the goal comes Stolarz. He'll leave it there for Oliver Ekman-Larsson with 10 seconds left in the overtime. OEL almost gave that puck away. Now is knocked down. A centering pass, and that was knocked away by Domi in time. Going to run out.
Ekman Larson, I think, realized time was ticking down, so didn't want to make a bad pass and ended up getting pasted in behind the net. Now he goes after the referee. I think may have been looking for a penalty call there. Won't come. And the Leafs will outshoot the Flyers in this game 31-25. Only the third time in the last 19 games the Leafs have managed to do that. And you know what? This was a cross-check by Christian Dvorak right into the numbers of Ekman Larson. So the Leafs, just their third shootout of the season. They're 1-1. I believe the loss was the Montreal Canadiens here on home ice. Trying to go through. Yep, 2-1 loss to Montreal. And the shootout win, the memory used to be a lot better, was recent, in Vancouver.
Yes. Yep.
Against the Canucks. Nick Waugh scored in the second period.
Joshua and Nylander, the goal scorers for Toronto, Dvorak and Cates for the Flyers as we go to a shootout.
In the Vancouver game, Austin Matthews had a penalty shot in overtime, did he not?
Yes.
Didn't go, but then Nylander and Matthews scored in the shootout.
So he got a little practice in, and it turned out to be okay. Well, they are scraping the ice here quickly. And the goaltenders revert back to their third period spot. So Stolarz down to our right and Vladar down to our left.
Yep, Tavares Austin Matthews 2 for 2 this season on the shutout. Nylander 1 for 2. John Tavares 0 for 1. Trevor Zegras, most successful Flyer. He scored in 4 of his 7 shots. Michkov 2 of 7.
Nylander will shoot first. And here he comes. Gets the puck with speed straight down the middle of the ice, working in on goal, scores! Wrist shot over the catching hand of Vladar.
Because he comes in with speed, Vladar is forced to back in, right? To guard against the deke, the big swoop to the backhand.
And Michkov will shoot for Philadelphia. Slowly to the right wing side, left-handed shot into the middle of the rink, a little deke, and a backhand scores off the pad of Stolarz.
Boy, Michkov just dropped his shoulder, and Stolarz bit. Dropped his left shoulder.
Looking like he's going to shoot, right?
And then drew it back to the backhand. Went the other way.
Matthews will shoot for Toronto. Gathers it up and comes to the right wing side. Now cutting across the middle of the ice with a backhand that is stopped by Vladar. 1-1 in the shootout. Second shooter coming for Philadelphia. Trevor Zegras will shoot for the Flyers. Left-handed shot, and he is really taking his time. Down the right wing boards. Now speeds up as he hits into the slot area and scores. Fired it over the catching hand of Anthony Stolarz. And the Leafs need a goal from Max Domi to continue the shootout.
Trevor Zegras, by the way, is the record for the highest shootout scoring percentage among players with at least 20 attempts.
Here's Domi on the left-hand side. Works into the circle, into the slot area, and a glove save made by Vladar. And the Philadelphia Flyers will beat the Maple Leafs 2-1 in the shootout and 3-2 in the game. In a game that was entertaining, if nothing else.
Yeah, until the third period.
Until the third period didn't have much, but
it slowed down, and then with about 4 or 5 minutes left, the teams opened it up a little bit. Not the most exciting of overtimes, and the shootout seems to be over the last few years rather anticlimactic, doesn't it?
Time now for the 3 stars, brought to you by Youngblood. is the next great film for a new generation of hockey fans. From Academy Award-nominated director Hubert Davis, Youngblood, only in theaters starting March 6th.
Well, I'm going to go third star. We'll give it to Trevor Zegras, who scores the shootout winner, as we mentioned. Now 5 for 8 on the season, and the highest shooting percentage in shootouts among players with at least 20 attempts or more. He's star number 3. Willie Nylander will give star number 2 to add some opportunities in overtime, score the tying goal in the third period, descended to extra time. And star number 1 of the Philadelphia Flyers, Noah Cates, with a goal and an assist. So 2 points on the 2 goals scored in the first 65 minutes is your number 1 star.
So the Leafs go on the road for a trip around Manhattan. They'll start in New Jersey, and we will have that action for you in a couple of nights' time right here on Sportsnet 590 The Fan. The Leafs drop a 3-2 shootout decision to the Philadelphia Flyers. You've been listening to Molson Leaf Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Maple Leafs Radio Network.
You've been listening to Molson Leafs Hockey on Sportsnet 590 The Fan and the Leafs Radio Network. There's a Molson with your name on it.
Build a championship fantasy baseball team with the expert advice of SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio.
Focus on players that impact as many categories as possible.
Hear winning strategies and player projections from former Major League General Managers Jim Bowden and Steve Phillips.
I'm definitely going to take a position player with my first 2 picks.
Don't be left with the bat on your shoulders. Swing for the fences and dominate your fantasy baseball draft with Fantasy Sports Radio, Channel 87, and on the SiriusXM app. The NHL trade deadline on SiriusXM